I'm going to call the meeting for the Select Board for May 11th to order at 7:01. Julie, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
Oh, I'd love to. I pledge allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Need a motion to approve the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda for May 11th, 2026.
Second?
For discussion, I have one question. Did we figure out what the Northern Alliance donation is? So that we're going to strike that from the agenda?
Yes. And there's a couple other things to strike, if you don't mind.
I'm listening.
Under Parks and Recreation, the Recreation Point of Sale System proposal, we'd like to move that to the next meeting so that the rep from the company can actually be present or on Zoom to answer any questions you may have. That's the second one down at 8:25.
Okay.
And also, under the 745 Department of Public Works report, the acceptance of the Class 2 paving grant and the structures grant. I thought I would have the actual contracts by today, and they haven't come in yet.
Anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approval of the minutes for April 27th.
I wasn't here, so.
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes for April 27th.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? I have one thing for clarity. It's the last sentence, starting on page 1, going into page 2. I believe you were talking about Castleton residents there, Mark?
That's correct.
So we need to clarify that.
This is what, the last sentence?
Yes.
The last sentence on page 1, going into the first sentence on page 2. That I think the words Castleton residents, it needs to be
Yeah, you just
changed in lieu of people.
Yep.
Yeah, the discussion was revolving around, should other communities share in the reduction of
Right.
tax? You know, that we have the building in the town of Castleton, but other members of other communities use it as well.
Well, that's the only thing I found in here that was not clear, I thought.
Yep.
Any more discussion on the minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good job, Brianna. Mary Lee's not here, though.
Well, I'm sure there's some grammatical errors in there somewhere. I just did not look for those. I look for content.
Oh, no faith in you, Brianna. They just lost it all.
I think it's a grammar check.
No, I want the minutes to make sense 10 years from now when we have to look back on what was said by yours truly or Mark or whoever.
When Rob's still on the board.
Yes, when Rob is running the show.
64.
Okay, moving on. Citizens' comments, items not on the agenda.
There's nobody on Zoom.
Seeing none, we're going to move on to Community Health Centers of Rutland Region. We've all seen the opinion from our attorney, and we've all agreed that they do in fact have tax-exempt status, whether we like it or not. The assessed value is 3.8 million, so that's a percentage of our grand list, and I'm still trying to work on getting that number, but it's somewhere around 3 or 4%. So it's a pretty good hit on income to both the town and the schools. So my best first initial guess is around 80K a year is what they pay in. Most, 3/4 of that goes to the school. So it's a hit. It's gonna have to be made up by the rest of us. So I've been collaborating. Let me start over. Peter Lynch is a member of the Shoreham Select Board, and this affects Shoreham, Castleton, Pollitt, and Brandon. And he reached out to the other 3 towns. So far, I'm the only one who's actually responded to him, and we're starting to collaborate on getting a letter that we can collectively send to our federal legislators and maybe our county legislators as well to see if there's any federal help because it's his opinion and ours as well that our medical centers serve not just the residents of Castleton, but the surrounding areas as well, including New York State. You know, I'm sure there's people that come from Whitehall or Granville or wherever to our medical center, and Mr. Lynch said that he's absolutely confident that people come over the bridge, Lake Champlain Bridge, to the one in Shoreham, because there's not a lot going on in northern New York either, just like there isn't in good. So we're fortunate to have these places in our communities, but we're going to see if we can get some federal joy to help us out with the funding loss that this is representing. That's all I've got. Does anyone else have anything else? More to follow.
So you're in contact with Mr. Lynch?
I just got a draft from him at around 6 PM tonight, so I haven't had a chance to really look at it.
Good.
But I will. He's going to be meeting with his select board on Wednesday. I'll give him some feedback and make sure you guys are in the loop. It'll be a information-only email. I won't want a response back,
Excellent.
but I'll make sure you guys know what's going on.
Perfect.
Yes, sir.
I'll share what I found out Friday. The state is how they calculate taxes on things like solar panels, solar fields, towers, cell towers, radio towers, changed, and it increased that quite a bit. So I was talking with our assessor, and she said, she made just a statement, said, well, this has really increased a lot for that. And I'm like, at least $3.8 million? And she said, it's a lot. And she didn't want to give me an exact number at the time because they're still working out the final details on this. And I said, but if you get some joy from anywhere on this issue, on top of and saving some or getting something back, plus this increased revenue that's going to come from these solar fields and stuff like that, we're going to pick up something. It's going to close some of that gap, if not all of it. I don't really know yet, though.
But it would have been nice to have that on top
On
of.
top of it, yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm
Try not to
saying.
be
If you get some
greedy,
joy, it'd be really nice.
You know?
Well, anytime we can reduce the tax rate, that's never unwelcome news.
Yeah.
So, and unfortunately, it may have to go the other way this year. We don't know yet. That's all I have on that, so we'll move on. Tyler Technologies, payment of final invoice. I'll open this up for a board discussion. I pretty much let everyone know my opinion last meeting.
So at the last meeting, at the terminus of it, the assessor was gonna put together some information on things that had not happened correctly or on the timeline that they were supposed to, and we were gonna formulate a letter to Tyler Technologies explaining why we believe that what we owe is about $4,500, not $25,000, because they damaged the town in the vicinity of $21,000. Has she gotten that information to you?
I asked her as of Thursday, and she still hadn't finished putting it all together.
Should we respond to them that we're calculating the value of some of the things that they failed to perform, just so they know that we're not ignoring their bill?
I don't know if I'd go that direction, but based on that voicemail that I got, I could reach out to them and say, listen, the select board's discussing it. We'll have, by the next meeting, we'll have some resolution.
Yeah.
Just
yeah,
so
we
that they're
believe
not
there's-
hanging, but.
Right, just so they know we believe that they did not meet the expectations on a few different levels, and we're calculating a value.
Would you be willing to collaborate with Mary Jo on that?
Sure.
She's in tomorrow. She'll be at the office.
Tomorrow she's in?
So I think if you helped move that along, it would be a big help for us.
Yep, I'll have that all done for the next meeting.
So at this point, we've agreed to take no action, except for having Mike reach out to him, telling him that we're discussing it.
Probably fill it back, yeah.
I mean, I don't think we got what we paid for, and the 20,000 or approximately that I think they owe us is a small amount, but it is taxpayer money, and I think that we need to,
That 20,000 is based on stuff that they didn't perform for us or they didn't perform properly.
or didn't do on time.
Yeah.
You need to be able to justify that number, so,
Yep.
and I know you're not too bad at doing stuff like that, so.
Yeah, if I can get that information from Mary Jo, I think we can draw a pretty quick timeline to it.
They had a time frame to do such and such in their contract and they failed to meet that contract.
Correct.
I know you also met with both John Vickery and John, what was the other guy's name?
They were both John.
Yeah, anyways, you negotiated a deal with them at one point in time, and
For them to start over and start the reappraisal over,
so
because,
you're in a good position to decide whether or not they actually met that obligation.
yeah, I mean, they had failed to do things that they were supposed to, and they were caught.
Yeah.
You may want to dust off your notes from that meeting too.
Yep, I've got those. And they were not responsive to the assessor, which caused a lot of extra time and would delay things. You know, she would send an email, a phone call, and it would be 10 days before she got a response, and that's just not acceptable. What was this, $250,000 deal?
Or approximately.
You know, I mean,
That had a timeline.
had a timeline. You get an email, you have to respond within 24
Because
hours.
she had stuff to do on top of, waiting for that information
Right.
with
and
a
they know-
with a deadline on her end as well.
Yep, they know that she works 2 days a week.
And the land schedule issues that she's brought up, when Mary Jo goes back out there and looks at somebody's grievance, and it's really apparent that there's a problem, they end up going through the grievance process, it may lower their assessed value, which again, keeps eating away at the grand list.
And they didn't show up at some of those meetings they were supposed to.
Well, you know what we need you to do, Mark. So
Yep,
if you
I'll get
could-
it done. By the
help,
next meeting, I'll have it done.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Yep.
We're gonna move on. We have a additional coin drop request.
Yeah, there was, one came in, and for the life of me, I looked for it, and I couldn't find it. I don't know where it is. I told you about it when it first came
You
in.
told me about it last week.
I looked in the coin drop file, and it wasn't there, so I'm like, I have no idea. I looked through everything, I could not find it. It was something to do with the school, I believe.
No, like the school does not do coin drops.
Yeah, it was all the
if
teachers.
anything, It's a parent organization for kids who are in school, but we do not do coin drops. That is-
It was something in benefit for the school, or something, along that lines, like the 8th grade thing they do.
We
But it was-
approved one.
We did that one, but another one came in, and for the life of me, I can't find it. So I'll come across it, and it'll be back on the list, but
Dust that off for the next meeting if you can.
if I can find it, I'll dust it off, but.
Would it been a second date for one that we already approved?
No, it was totally different,
Totally different.
yeah.
Okay.
I remember you mentioning it when I was talking to you last, was it Wednesday or Thursday?
Yeah, it could have been, maybe it was Fairhaven for sports program or something, I don't know. It was something different than had already been approved, but I can't find it.
Then we're gonna move on to, Public Works Report. Mr. Davidson, you're up.
Jeff, you there?
He's muted.
Martha, can you hear us?
No, she can't hear us either.
A pretty boring meeting for the people on Zoom, huh?
Can people hear us now? Anybody on Zoom?
It's all great when it works.
Somebody else popped up.
Now, there's several people that can't
Okay,
hear
everybody
us.
quiet. Test, test. Heard that. Martha, Sue, Jeff, can you hear us? All right. Guess they can hear us. I don't know if they recorded anything that you said so far, but
Since, Jeff's not responding, Mike, you're up.
thanks, Jeff. You're fired. So we scrapped the Class 2 paving and the Class 2 structures grant till we actually get it. Tree purchase for approval. In your packets, there was a request from the tree warden.
I'm back, Mike, sorry.
Okay. We're, well, the first two are gone, so we're at tree warden anyway. Today, the tree warden came in while I was working on trying to soften up some of the budget stuff for the tree warden and the beach and all that. So Scott, if you, based on what we found, or we determined is there's money left, Scott has a proposal that changes this a little bit. So you will let him speak to you, Mr. Chairman?
Certainly.
Perfect.
Thank you for coming, Scott.
Yep, so in the budget, what we figured the most important trees are the 5 for Crystal Beach. We've cut in trees last year and this year, and 5 is the required number that we have to put back in the ground under what the state would like us when we cut one down to replant. So those are gonna be silver maples. They grow fast, a lot of shade. They love the water. It'll be perfect. The other 2 are at the T-ball field, and then 2 more at the Little League field on the other side of the railroad tracks. And we have enough money in the budget to do those 9 trees, and then 1 more of the hard maple tree that I will plant here on Main Street. So I haven't planted any trees on Main Street. This will be the 3rd fiscal year. 2 years have been really bad drought-wise, and I'm not gonna spend $40 for a water bag. We did it once. I bought a dozen of them. We put them in on a Thursday, went away for the weekend, came back Monday, and there's 1 left. So somebody else thought they needed them more than we did. The other thing is these trees are a little bit higher in price. They're not a 1-inch tree. They're a 2 or a 2.5. And they're not gonna come in a 2-gallon pail. They're gonna come in burlap. So it's established. We gotta dig a pretty good hole and get it in place. So the other ones that I have on Main Street are replacement of trees that I have cut down throughout the last 3 years. So they're not a new tree, they're just a replacement tree. And they were replacing all big trees. You know, the one in front of John Raylan's was a 30-inch last ash tree on Main Street. And I would like to replace it with a young ash and give it a go. I'm not gonna say it's gonna live, I'm not gonna say it isn't, but in my opinion, the younger ash trees, for some reason, will survive, and that one was about 82 years old, counting the rings, so that was here quite a while. It was in front of John Raylan's. Other than that, the other trees, when my other budget comes up, I can buy those and put them in as replacement trees. So things that have kind of hit us unexpected is the tree that I took down in front of the post office. I was down there today tearing up all the brick. They had already graded or chipped the stump off. And Mr. Egan pulls up. He says, hey, he says, you know, I put those rocks in there 25 years ago. He says, 6 feet to your right, there's another stump. That's why that brick all humped up in the air another foot. So, you know, I got a hold of Jeff, and before you know it, we spent another $250 to the guy, Brooke, just happened to drive by, and he says, oh, if you can get me okay, I'll do it right now. So those kind of things are what are popping up. I'm not gonna do that brick and do that halfway, and like I've been told, I'm being watched, there's quite a few people. And yeah, I'm gonna put it back right, or I probably won't put it back. Just that way, so.
Are any of these trees you want to plant on Main Street going to be in the way when we go to do the sidewalk project?
No, none of them.
Okay.
Nope, made sure of that. There is 2 places that trees could go there, but I'm not gonna plant those. No. No.
Appreciate your attention to detail on Main Street. We want to keep that nice. So I know you have a degree in this type of work, so I'm sure you've planned out that these trees are the correct ones for the location they're going.
I'm planting an ash tree, and a lot of people say, well, you know, the Dutch ash disease is killing them all, they're all dead. I still would like to give another ash tree a chance. And that's in front of John Raylan's, and it will be 15 feet off from where any of the sidewalk construction would be. The other tree, when I get to it, would be an elm tree, and that was by where the Lions Club does their auction. And that tree also was about 75 years old. And that just, I'm positive it died from salt and other stuff. So, yeah.
No warranty left on it.
I think the warranty ran out when the bark hit the ground,
So.
because
are
I'm
these
not
trees-
climbing it.
Are these trees delivered or do we have to pick them up?
No, we have to pick them up. So,
Is there a warranty with these?
no.
Nothing at all.
If you want the warranty, it's half the price of the tree again. So, I am in touch with the new tree warden of probably 4 years in Rutland. And they buy their trees at this place. And he just had talked to me, or sent me a text today at noon. And they are running out of a lot of species. And he found a place in New Hampshire, Northeastern Tree Company, and their price is actually a little bit better. He was going there to physically look at the trees to make sure they're saying, if they're telling them it's burlap and it's a 2-foot ball, it's a 2-foot ball versus a burlap in a 15-gallon pail. There's a big difference, really. So, and I should know tomorrow, the next day. I don't know, I would like to have an approval on to spend this much money, but I don't want it to also be, well, how come I went over there and bought 4 trees and didn't buy them up there? I mean, they could be out of them. They're so busy up at Horsford's that they told me maybe by 6 o'clock, somebody today would be able to get back to me just via text, which Mike knows I'm computer illiterate. And
I'll test that.
I didn't get anything today from them. So it's a pretty big place. In saying that, Mr. Rayland had stopped by and asked where I was getting the trees, and I told him, and that's where he has bought 15 of his own, so.
Scott, can I interrupt and talk to you? I'll interrupt him, I guess. Since we spoke today, there's about $4,100 for the stuff. And I just added up, if you buy the 9 silver maples, the 1 ash, the 5 crabapple, and 1 hard maple, that's $4,035. So I think if a motion was made not to exceed that amount, depending on where, if he can save money from New Hampshire, it might be less than that, but he can still get the same trees.
Yeah,
I would be comfortable doing that, leaving it to Scott's good judgment that the time to go get them in New Hampshire justified any savings, if there were any, and the quality was.
Yeah, I gotta see them. I mean, if you don't go and see them, I mean, you could be buying a maple or an oak or an ash that goes up 7 feet and splits, and that's no good. That's not worth our time. We got a dozen of them on Main Street now.
I did put a request in today. I said, can we maybe get a couple cherry trees in there or something? Splash in there?
Yeah, it's as long as we put a fence around them.
But if he were to be able to purchase those 9 silver maples, 1 ash, 5 crabapple, and 1 hard maple, at the prices of Horschers, it's $4,035, and he has $4,100 to utilize.
Can you slow down one more time? You rattled it off. So I just want to mark it off what we're getting for
The very bottom of the page, the 9 silver maples,
Got that.
then 1 ash tree, which was
The one ash,
$299.
Okay.
5 crab apples for $1,495.
all 5 of them. Okay.
Yep. And then 1 hard maple at $699,
And not buying the elm.
Why are you leaving the others out?
because it exceeds the $4,100 that he has.
And then when the fiscal year rolls over, we'll talk about some more.
When July 1st, if he still wants to purchase those trees, it'd be still within my spending limit at that point to approve the 1 more silver or hard maple and the
Oak.
the oak tree.
Yeah.
Has anybody reached out to Hillary at Fulton Meadowy Natural Resource Conservation District on stuff for the beach? Because there's
He did.
generally some discounts or some free stuff for shoreline planting.
Her trees aren't big. And with the drought that was last year, when I was talking to her, they only grew about 8 inches. So they're stunted for another year. It means if I put them in the ground, in my opinion, in a year's time, you're only gonna get, if you get a foot to 16 inches, you know, you aren't gonna see a tree for 5-6 years. And what also has happened on Main Street is I've planted some of those young trees that were 3/4 inch. And I can't verify who did it or who didn't, but they were all snapped off or bent over and broke. And I would never make that mistake again in planting until after graduation.
Yeah.
Well, and we did that at the beach, the same thing from Hillary stuff, and they got broken. Because we plant them like really close to the barbecue grills, and one might assume they made it into the barbecue grill.
Yeah.
Or they wound up being marshmallow sticks.
Yeah, or marshmallow sticks.
And a silver maple, when it gets its feet wet, will grow 3 or 4 feet a year.
Yeah, just what we need.
So-
Have you been up to see Crystal Beach where we've cut?
Looks really nice. The same down at the ball field, looks really good.
Yeah.
The guy that you hired to do the stump grinding did a really nice job in my
That was
opinion.
Brooke. He's the one that caught me today
Yeah.
and said, I'll come right back. So
It looked like he did a really nice job. What's your opinion?
he was nervous of the marble losing teeth. So I stood right there and he did a super job.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
Mike, under your math, we had the 9 silver maples.
Yep. Which was 22,241.
Yep. And then the
1 hard maple. Actually, I put 1,400 in there, so it's actually, hold on a second. 5 crab apples, 2241 is, let me go back at this. Give me a second to doodle.
And be done with it.
Because I made 2 scenarios, one with 2 hard maples and with 1.
we'll talk amongst ourselves.
Is that good or bad?
I would just, if we want to make it easy, we could just make a motion to allow the tree warden to purchase up to $4,100 worth of trees.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
You're all set, Scott. Get it done.
I know you'll do your best.
Thank you.
Do the job you normally do for us and we'll all be
Hopefully
happy.
we'll get some with a little more white on Main Street.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
So the trees are done. Want to talk about storm drain replacement?
Sure. I'm just looking.
Or do we want to back up to Jeff's Public Works report first?
Yeah, probably start with it, since he's been waiting.
Jeff, we're ready to hear your Public Works report.
All right. Well, I guess most of it's on there. We got the Chevy is back in action. I guess the main things would be I got a hold of Cargill, and they wouldn't ship the salt now, so I canceled an order. and it can be placed at the end of this month. Tim Barrett, said he wouldn't start trucking it until beginning of June, and that would, push off any payments until the next fiscal year. There are already talks of, at least $8 increase per ton. I was talking with Tim at the fair up in Barry, last week. Let's see, I don't know if you guys talked about the grants, but there was we got the paving grant for Creek Road, and we got a structures grant for a bridge on East Hubbardton. So that is, that's good news. New hire is starting Monday, assuming nothing changes, so we're looking forward to adding her to the team. And other than that, we're just marching along with some projects before we move on to out to West Castleton to start the main projects of Cedar Mountain and Moscow, which will tie us up for quite a while.
Jeff, the grader is repaired?
That's my
The
question.
grader is repaired and it's been in action.
Nice. Were you able to get that cylinder rebuilt, or did you have to buy another one?
Nope, we were able to get it rebuilt. I think Evan threatened the guy with torches and pitchforks from residents if it didn't happen soon. So it's back and it's been out and about. Chloride's been applied, so we're moving in the right direction there.
Oh, no.
All right.
No.
Hey, Jeff, make sure
Yes.
Pond Hill's last.
Your pitchfork isn't very big, Julie.
The horse trailers will thank you really soon.
And how about the New Holland?
That is, Mike Smith had it out today. That took a little high temp. Oh man, I just spaced the name of it, but it's operational. Yes.
Okay, great.
Those bolts that were coming loose, hydraulic fluid was coming out from where the bolts were. And so Bill Harris was out there and he tightened them up and it's loosened up again. So Evan was gonna come up, they tried the Loctite and all that stuff and nothing was working. So he said, I might have to.
It's high temp Loctite. That's what it was.
Okay. The first stuff they said it wasn't working, so. He thought he may have to tack weld them to hold them in place.
It got run all day today and no issues,
Excellent.
which is fantastic.
Any questions for Jeff before we move on? Now we're gonna talk about storm drain replacement.
All right. I did meet with Brad Kendall from Fabian's last week to look at the storm drains on Elm Street. If you remember, one of the ones on Elm Street, the one that's closest to the Masonic Temple, the lodge, on that east side of the road, it failed, and Mike Smith and Heath built a form and poured our own little vault there.
Yeah, they fixed it for good, right?
Yeah, but they said 3 years, and they looked at me and said, 3 years, Mike. And we're at 3 years, and it's definitely time anyway. But then we pulled the one that's closest to the Texaco station, and that thing is in terrible shape and full of debris. And if A1 cleaned those drains, I don't know what happened, but the one there, the one by the Masonic Lodge, the one at the intersection of Main and Elm that are on the east side, closest to Third Place, that is in terrible shape, collapsing. It's all stone and some concrete, and it's full of silt. And now the pipe that runs from that one west underneath Elm Street to the catch basin that's at the corner of Elm and Main, when it exits that one on the east side, it's dirt, full, or not quite full, but almost full. And then when it entrance to the other catch basin on the west side, it's all half full, and that catch basin's full of dirt. So if they vacuum those out, somewhere between last fall, I think, when they vacuumed them, unless it was this spring, Jeff, I don't remember, that we took on that much silt and dirt coming into those things. So I had Brad do measurements on all of them, and he's gonna work up a cost estimate to replace those 4 catch basins. Because they don't, the ones that are on the south side, or the intersection of Main and Elm, he thought maybe one ran across the road towards the library, but nothing, there's no exits that go that way unless they go out a ways and do a 90 degrees across the road, which is highly unlikely. And then we looked at the catch basins that are on the intersection of Seminary and Main, and the one on the north side by Povey's, I think it was Povey's on that place, so John Rail owns it now. That one, those are new. Those are in good shape.
And are they full of sediment?
One had a lot of leaves in it, but not a lot of dirt. Unless I didn't dig to the bottom of it.
So there's probably a broken pipe that dirt's coming in, wouldn't you think?
Well, but the other ones are collecting it off the road. They're not coming off from the north or the south part of Elm coming towards Main Street. Those are just catch basins that are taking on stormwater that's from on the roads. There's no other place they're coming from. There's no pipes coming into them. So how they're picking up that much dirt, that we don't put dirt on Main Street during the winter, so it can be like winter sand, but they are full. So I don't know, Jeff, if you guys went out with those guys and if somebody watching them, but it's definitely a lot of stuff in sediment in those things. But to be able to connect those to anything else beyond what they're connected now, we'd have to put more in, like up towards the yogurt factory, those places, and we haven't engineered that. But just to replace the ones that are there now, the structures are about 3,300 to 3,500 apiece. The one in front of the library that they're gonna install as part of that grant, that stormwater grant, that will be put in front of the library and then go west and connect into that one by Povey's. Is that Povey's? That was the one that
Used to be still there.
Yeah. And that thing is positioned, that one that's by Povey's is positioned to go north to the basketball courts through John Rayland's property, which he said he would give us the permanent easement through that property. So that thing is positioned correctly. It just needs to have it's gonna be cut in a boot so that pipe that leaves it will go towards the basketball court.
To reiterate Mark's question, is it possible there's a break in one of those subterranean lines that's adding sediment and silt into this?
If that's where you're going, in between them, so, thank you for clarifying. Brad asked me to have our guys run the camera down through there to make sure the pipes are in good shape. So we haven't done that yet. But
It just seems impossible that there would be that much sediment coming off the pavement.
yeah. Yeah, and it's been in there long enough, the stuff's growing out of, like, grass and
Oh,
stuff.
really?
Yeah,
Maybe they weren't clean last year.
yeah. It just seems like a lot.
How deep are those?
They're really shallow. They're from the outlet or inlets, it's about 24 inches. So he wants to go 4 feet have a sump at the bottom, because there's no sumps in those either. So they're not, when the water goes in there, no sediment's kind of dropping out of it and settling in the sumps. It's all just staying in that one spot.
I think
They're
having
old.
those cameras lined would be a wise, or.
Yeah, so I will get
Lines
the,
cambered would be a wise precaution.
I will do that. But we're still gonna face some stormwater drain issues or replacement costs. But we do have, some good news is the stormwater project is looks like we'll get 2 grant fundings for that, and our out-of-pocket costs are gonna be pretty minimal. And the board had authorized $145,000 out of that ARPA for that stormwater, so we're not gonna spend that close to that. So there might be some extra money to repair the storm drains before they
Looks like we
pave.
will now.
Because they're paving, after July 1st, Main Street is getting paved, and we're looking at the, Peckham is the company that got the award. Jeff's engaged them about giving us an estimate to pave Elm, Mechanic, and seminary. So we need to put structures in the ground before they pave.
Right.
So Brad knows that, and he's looking at me like, I'll get you the stuff, but you guys need to camera those lines or those pipes so that we can make sure they're in good shape. So, once I have that, the stuff cambered, which I'll get on those guys this week to do, and I get Brad's, estimate, then I'll be able to come back to the board with something for that.
Sounds like that's under control then.
And it's just a lot of moving parts with that stormwater, in the village.
We're
Yeah, it's
getting it
gotta
done.
be all lined up just right,
Yeah.
or else we're in trouble.
We can't hold up VTRANS from paving.
Yeah.
Getting it done before it gets paved only makes sense on many levels.
Once it's out of the roadway, the rest of the project can, develop as needed, but getting the work done where they're gonna pave, and we have to put structures in and stuff, that's the part that needs to get done.
So anything more to talk about on the, upgrade and grant funding?
No, I think I shared with the board, it looks like we're gonna get somewhere around $375,000, and the project cost was like $437. So our share, not our share, we don't have a town share of the grant, but we'll have to cover what's not, covered in it. So we're looking at like probably somewhere around $50,000 or so of that 145 that's in there. Plus we have money in the highway carryover for stormwater like 71,000, if I remember correctly. So we're sitting in pretty good shape.
So how deep did he recommend putting those structures? 4 feet?
4 feet.
Because they're only 2 now?
Yeah, it was like, well, that's to the 2 feet from the bottom of the opening to the rim of the catch basin. So it's gonna go 2 feet below that.
It seems like that would be a good upgrade.
Yeah. Yep, and the, Fuss and O'Neill today, around, I was like 4:30-ish or so, Brian Birch sent me a copy of a contract if the town wants to hire Fuss and O'Neill to do the bid process for this, this grant, and then administer through the grant. It was like 25,000, I think it was, to the end of the grant. And so I haven't looked at it yet, so see what they're charging and what's in there, but what we can do and what they can do. I'll come back to you with that one. I'll kind of roll it up when I come back to you with the pricing for the whole thing.
So we should be able to talk about that next meeting, we hope?
We hope so, because as soon as we get that done, this thing is ready to go out to bid.
I don't recall the exact dates, but just so everyone knows, our next meeting will not be on Monday, it will be on Thursday, because Monday is, Memorial Day.
28th, is that right?
Yeah, I don't recall the date, but I could look on the calendar.
28th to Thursday, the 28th.
Maybe 28th.
Yeah, and Peg TV contacted me and I told them about the date change already. So we'll see you on Thursday.
The 28th.
The 28th, not 2 days or 3 days from now. Micah will be here.
Okay, let's talk about South Street sidewalks.
So Sanderson Trucking and Excavation was the company that the select board approved for the job. I was sent, Brian Birch from Fuss and O'Neill sent me the construction contract and all the attachments that go with it. I told Jarrett from Sanderson's Trucking, that the contract was with Merrill Bent being reviewed, and that I would hopefully have an answer by today, which I did not get one today. So I'll just bug her tomorrow, because he wants to get started, obviously. Because he said he wanted to get started once the university commencement was over, which is this coming weekend. So I'm hopeful that I'll have the contract back from Merrill, signed, sent to him, and he's got a signed contract with a notice to proceed before this weekend.
That's great. Justin Sarjenko mentioned that he's friends with the chief in Ludlow, I think. And the chief in Ludlow had heard that we gave this contract to Sanderson, and he said that you're gonna be really happy with him, that Sanderson did an excellent job for Ludlow.
Good.
That's good to hear.
Yeah,
It's good to hear.
Would've been really nice to hear it before the last meeting, but.
would have been nice to hear before, but.
Well, at least you didn't hear that he did a terrible job
Oh, yeah,
after,
yeah.
you know,
That's
so.
true.
Well, the guy interviewed well, and he also had a pretty good reputation, so.
Geez, the guy's 29 years old, he's out there working hard, you really wanna give him the contract and hope that he does a good job, and it sounds like he will.
And he wasn't the low bidder. The other company, the $134,000, so the board awarded it to a company that wasn't the low bidder. So it was not at the
No, he
low,
was a little bitter.
no, he was the second. There was another company, he was 141, there was a company that was 134.
I don't think that's correct.
I don't think that's correct,
I
because
don't
the
either.
engineer had recommended that we not take the low bidder, that we take the next one up because they had more experience.
I will disagree with you on that, but.
I'm gonna disagree with you too, because I'm pretty sure Mark is right.
I think right now we don't need to rehash
No, no,
that.
no, I just, no, but
Doesn't matter.
but, no, well, yeah,
Can I have that a
it
second?
does, but it doesn't.
We know we're right. That's all that matters.
Okay, I'll keep going. I got last month's packet.
We can circle back to that, but let's move on.
gonna just die on the hill
We
with
need
this
to
one.
make,
You'll see a sour look on his face in a minute when he realizes.
Yeah, you're just gonna brush it
I
under the
have my
table.
opinion, but I'm gonna,
right, but.
He's not gonna be able to find it.
Oh, yeah, that's missing. These are not the droids you're looking for.
okay, so we're gonna move on.
Mike, I'm on your side on this
Micah,
one, I think, too.
Micah, you're up.
On your,
Let's move on to Parks and Recreation.
Move down a little bit further.
I think that's what I remember too, but.
And I got your memo, I'll see you at noon on Wednesday.
Yes, excellent. I appreciate.
Here, you wanna be here?
Yep, let's do it here, and then we can use the screen.
Okay.
I really appreciate you making the time for that. All right, we've got a lot to cover today for recreation, so I'll try to keep my little update as quickly as we can. So happy May, everybody. Can't believe we are about 2 months away from the start of summer camp. It is coming very quickly. So besides pickleball, our other major program that we have going on right now is girls softball. We have 26 players, so we're able to form 2 teams. The home games and practices are taking place over at the elementary school. And then the away games are taking place throughout the area. Rutland City actually did not have enough players to field their own team, so they sent people to different teams, and we were able to pick up one of their athletes, so we were excited for that. Additional programming going on, we have some new ones coming up. We have a beekeeping program that's going to take place at the end of May. It's a 2-day workshop. The first one is going to be more focused on the science of bees, and then the second day we're actually going to have the hives here. So there's a little bit of a cost to that, but you are able to keep your PPE that you get as part of that program. So thank you so much. I'm trying to remember. Josh Davis is the one who's going to be leading that. So we have beekeeping. And then we also have a couple of new nature programs going on. We have an environmental educator that came to me and is interested in leading programs. So those are going to be starting here at the rec center, and then most likely going over to the rail trail to do some activities over there. So we have that going on as well. And then also towards the middle of the summer, we're also going to try a co-ed adult drop-in softball program after the softball season is done for the kids. We're going to try something for the adults. The commission was bringing up the idea of having adult sports leagues. So this is kind of our first kind of taste to see kind of how an adult sports program besides basketball it would do. So we're going to try that a little bit over the summer. With that, the big thing we're trying to push out to the public is, in order to make it happen, we need at least 10 participants just to make it feasible financially. So if we don't hit that, we're going to tell people we'll move your spot to a different day, but we need those 10 people. So speaking of summer camp, I have updated numbers for everybody. As of right now, so you can kind of look at those breakdowns for week 1 to 6. The number registered are people that have fully paid and are on the list, and then the waiting for payment are people that have filled out the form but we're still waiting for payment on. Before I continue on to our other camp updates, I also wanted to mention the financial aid. We are planning on offering scholarships this year. As of right now, we have 11 requests. Everybody pretty much has requested all 6 weeks. And the Friends have promised right now in their fund, we have $750. So we can quickly do that math, but we are very short on those. We're trying to see what we can do to reach out for more donations, look around for grants and everything, but we are really having trouble, and we don't really want to be turning away campers. Our hope is to be able to offer full rides, but maybe the decision is that we offer partial scholarships to people. We haven't really reached that point because we're still trying to figure out how many people are going to be requesting it and what our funds will look like. So that's something kind of interesting going on. For the teen camp, I think I mentioned at the last select board meeting that our original plan of taking people on outings using a van and getting people kind of out of town on adventures had been canceled. And we were going to kind of draw that back and try to do adventures coming here from the rec center. Unfortunately, we still did not get the response that we expected. And one at a time, my co-directors resigned because they wanted to find other opportunities before everything for the summer closed up. So without any directors and with, again, about 2 months to go before it, we've made the decision to fully cancel the teen camp program. And people that were signed up for that teen camp program have the option to get refunded, or they can join, and we're going to try to do kind of a counselor and training, extra responsibilities for those campers, as well as for camp. So a little bit disappointed that teen camp didn't take off, but it is the first year that we're trying it, and it's nothing that we can't try again if we get more interest in the future. So teen camp is canceled, and that's why those are big X'd. Tennis in the park, we're doing really well with our registration numbers for grades 4 to 8, but the adult one and the grades 1 to 3 are still very, very low at no registration for those. We are working with the New England Tennis Association that they're going to offer scholarships. So hopefully with their scholarships, again, this is not going to affect anything from the Friends and from the Adventure Camp scholarships. We will be able to increase that registration. So the scholarships just came out starting this week with that. Sailing camp is fully sold out, so down to Joe, Mark, and his team. They've been doing a great job for a number of years, and I think it really shows that they have a number of registrations and they're starting a wait list. So well done to him and his team with sailing camp. And then lastly, on the cancellations, the STEM camp that we had planned on doing here with Wicked Cool for Kids has also been canceled due to low enrollment. And again, a lot of their staff are teachers, so they want to make sure that they are finding other places for those people to work instead of just saying, oh, you got nowhere to work this summer. So we made that decision to cancel that a little bit on the earlier side. And then kind of looking at all the camps at a glance, you have a chart there just to kind of go over the overview of all the numbers. Adventure Camp can take the most number of campers, so it's kind of represented in our higher numbers, but the other camps are slowly getting up to their numbers as well. This spring, we've also opened the gym for the month of April for open gym 7 days a week, thanks to the university students. And to date, I don't have the exact numbers, but we've had about 15 people show up for open gym for the entire month of April. So it's been a little bit disappointing. We had an okay turnout with open gym soccer. It's something that we can look to try to bring back in the fall. But it really surprised me that we did not get anybody for open gym basketball or even the new floor hockey. So we're going to kind of finish up the month of the month of May with open gym, and then kind of reevaluate what we want to do for the fall. And then let's see, is that everything? And then some notes from Mary for our pickleball for the month of April. Pickleball's kind of continuing to grow. Again, it's looking really good with the residents. We had 25 members for the monthly fee, and then 8 non-members, and then a couple of day passes as well. So making almost $1,000 for the month of May. So that's kind of an overview of kind of what we're working on, and some of the programs that we've kind of have tried, but have not, unfortunately not been as successful as we had hoped.
Thank you, Micah. Questions?
Nice job.
Thank you, Micah. Nice report.
Thank you.
Questions for Micah?
I have nothing.
Then we're gonna move on to the fun one, the 5th and 6th grade sports report, or sports discussion.
You tabled that one until next meeting.
Why? That's why I'm here.
Oh, I thought, oh, no, I'm sorry. No, it was my rec desk.
That was the
Yeah,
registration.
sorry about
Like,
that.
what? That's why I'm here.
And while I'm just stepping all over it, you guys are correct. Sorry, Bob. You went with
I thought we were right.
yeah, you went with the wrong horse.
Yeah.
Girl somewhere.
Eric had a game, so.
Yeah.
Man, I could have sworn I read that too. I mean, I wasn't here for it, but I could have sworn in the back that I saw it, but.
Maybe you won't make it.
I knew they were right, but I was gonna,
Jury's still out, we haven't given him his raise yet either.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be the umpire, so I kept my mouth shut. So the 5th and 6th grade basketball and soccer in Castleton, we tabled that until this week, hoping that Eric could make it, but he unfortunately had a game tonight and couldn't make it. Therefore, we still need to have the discussion, and Micah, your thoughts on this?
I have no opinion on it one way or another. I think I'm used to a lot of towns, especially in the Boston area, running at these sports, but I also understand that up here, the schools have taken it on at a little bit of an older age. So I think it's half dozen one, 6 dozen the other. One way or another does not make a difference to me.
The opinion of the board?
You know, I had, went to a meeting with Micah, Eric Ramey, and the Fairhaven rec director. And Eric makes some good points that since the school has merged, some of the programs have a lot of kids and not all kids get to play in games. And that by going to back to a local format, there's greater control, kids would get more playtime. And I don't disagree with any of that. The issue I have is I've called a lot of parents and none of them were in favor of it. And their viewpoint was the school budgets, is it about 30,000 a year for those sports? No, I shouldn't say budget. It costs
Thought it
about
was
30,000.
50 something.
I thought it was 60 something.
Okay, so, you want me to stand up and talk?
Let me finish.
Okay.
It costs a lot of money. 40, 50?
Do you want me to stand up and talk?
No.
I'm not just gonna answer
Not-
that.
not
'cause
till
if I'm
I'm
gonna
done.
get up, I'm gonna get up.
As soon as I'm done. It costs a
Okay, no
lot of
problem.
money to run these programs. If these programs go away from the school system, no one's gonna see a reduction in school budget. What the
Well, they'll
parent,
see a reduction in the budget, but it won't affect.
Julie,
the
wait,
tax.
Julie, please.
We already had a conversation, Mark and I.
Julie, you'll have your
the parents
chance.
of these children will not see a decrease in their school tax the following year. What they will see is that they'll have to pay for them to enroll in a town rec program. Probably 80 to 100.
50 to 60, I would say. Unless we want to start doing coaching stipends.
They also would lose transportation because the school provides busing. And they probably would have the times shifted from after school, which is where those games and practices are now. If we had volunteer coaches or non-coaches from the community, these practices would probably move until after dinner. You know, most people are working till 5 o'clock, so these would have to schedule later. So the parents would have to pick up transportation to and from practices and games, pay more money, and not see a saving on their school taxes. It's really difficult to get volunteer coaches. Impossible might be closer to it. I think the schools are paying $1,000, $1,500 for coaches, and they're having a hard time. It's not gonna be easier when we ask them to do it for nothing. So, from the parents' standpoint, it was very unpopular. And that puts me in a tough spot if we're voting on this, that, yeah, I think it looks like there would be more playtime, but our taxpayers, the ones I talk to, are not in favor of it. So, now I'll let Julie do counterpoint.
I mean, it's not really a counterpoint. I can't disagree with anything you said. It will not, $30,000 on a $26 million budget does nothing to your tax rate. You guys know that.
Okay,
Same with what you do, right? So it's not about the tax rate. That's
Stop.
not what this is about.
Julie, stop right there.
Yep.
I was told it was, Eric, come right out of Eric's mouth.
Yep.
It's $60,000, not
So,
30.
right, correct. And I.
You just said 30.
No, I said, in general, anywhere from $100,000 on down is not gonna affect your tax rate.
Let's just use the right number.
So we can.
It's 60,000.
It is
Don't say 30.
$53,115.50 for the entire fall soccer and winter basketball, fifth and sixth grade. That includes transportation, coaches, facilities, balls, uniforms, you name it. $53,115.50. You can have this.
No, I believe you there.
Yep.
But I was really offended when
Yeah.
you said 30,000.
Well, I was just
'Cause
throwing
what-
out a tax rate that doesn't affect your tax rate, and neither does 53,000.
No, I understand that.
That's
But
all.
what is the school doing with that money? I was told it's not coming back to the taxpayers. Why not?
Well, we reduced our budget by that much.
Oh, I was told it wasn't gonna be reduced.
Yeah, we'll reduce our budget. I mean, if this all goes through, you'll see on our little presentation, fifth and sixth grade sports minus da-da-da-da-da as a reduction.
Okay.
But it just won't reduce your tax rate.
No, I understand that.
That's I think the big thing that parents care about is they don't feel it in their pocket because it doesn't affect your tax
They're
rate.
gonna pay another
Okay.
fee.
So, correct. I can't deny that either. I did it for my kids all while they were in rec sports, all while they went through school. My kids are in their 20s now. They did rec sports all the way through. Yes, I paid fees. Sometimes I brought them to Rutland because Castleton didn't have stuff. Sometimes I brought them to Fairhaven because Castleton didn't have stuff, right? It shifts and moves as the kids go through these programs. And our population is not getting any bigger. So I wasn't surprised when you just said Rutland couldn't field softball teams, Micah, right? Our population's not getting bigger. We're losing kids in the state of Vermont. Our kindergarten and first grade are half the size that they were, you know what I mean, before. So I don't doubt that. So first of all, Micah said softball. You had 26 kids in softball that signed up for softball. You were able to make 2 teams. If that was a school program, you couldn't make 2 teams. You could only have 1 at 5th and 6th. That's the way the VPA works. You can't just say, I have this many students, I want this many teams at a school level with VPA, which is what's happening with basketball. When you can only have 5 on a court and you got 26 kids that want to play, you can't break it up into more than 1 team. You have to rotate who plays. That make sense? So that's VPA rules, which we are bound by, which rec is not. And that's where I think Eric really comes into this. We all know Eric Ramey is passionate about sports. He has been, not only for his own kids, but for what he does for our schools. He does not feel we do a good job. He feels we stink at 5th and 6th sports. We're not capable of giving students what they need to allow kids the experience to decide whether they like it enough. Because they don't get enough playing time. We don't have enough court space to have enough practice time with 26 kids on a team. So we don't do it well. And I think that's the bottom line. It's not about reducing our budget or doing this or doing that. We honestly feel we stink at it. We don't do a good job. And that's, I mean, I could read all of Eric's stuff, but the bottom line is we don't do a good job of it. And so therefore, putting it in the hands of an organization who can say, hey, we have massive signups. We had all the Rutland kids come this way because they couldn't do whatever. We can make 6 teams. Great. That's awesome for the kids. But we could never do that. And so that's really what it comes down to. When it comes to transportation, we all know busing is, talk about not being able to find bus drivers, okay? So sometimes you have to cancel things, or you have to say, leave school early to get the kids there so the bus driver can come back and do the run. Because we don't have enough bus drivers to send 1 here and 1 there. So we struggle with the transportation part of it as well. Not only that, I'd say 99.9% of the time, our buses all come back empty with 2 coaches on them. Because every parent goes to every game and takes their kid. So they're only losing transportation 1 way. They're not losing it 2 ways, because they all go to the games and they all bring them home anyways. So that's a part that we also struggle with, is transportation. Not us, the bus company can't provide enough bus drivers to do all these things. So yes, they're gonna pay a little bit more, 50, 60 bucks. I agree with that. I can't argue with that. But I think when it comes down to, is it better for students? It's better for students for it to be at rec. That's the position of the school district. And yes, you will see if And the other thing is, I'll say honestly, just like a decision you guys would make, if we decide to cut it, we decide to cut it. Whether you decide to pick it up or not has nothing to do with whether we decide to cut it. Do we want to cooperate and make sure that it's picked up? Yes. If our budget goes down again next year and we need to cut another 200,000 and 53,000, we'll make it 200,000 and that comes out, that comes out. I can't, that's the decisions we have to make when our budget passes or doesn't pass. And it really, I mean, we want it to be in cooperation. I do think that if you guys don't, people will go to Fairhaven and play. Because they'll open up, just like Rutland will take outside of Rutland participants in their rec, so will Fairhaven. So ultimately, if it gets cut and Castleton decides to do nothing, parents will bring their kids to other places to get their sports. They already pay for AAU. So,
Just a
yeah.
quick question, Julie, and this may not be a question for you, but
Mm-hmm.
Fairhaven and Castleton are the only two towns that have a rec department, right? So-
That have full-time rec directors. So both the other towns have like parent booster clubs and parent organizations, but they are not official recs. So like right now, Orwell took its 5th and 6th grade boys basketball back last year from us. And a Orwell parent organization ran Orwell boys basketball.
Oh, okay, so that's an option,
Correct,
okay.
correct. And that's
Those
their
kids-
choice.
Those kids wouldn't automatically come to Fairhaven or Castleton.
Yes, they would have.
They-
They had the choice. So when we had do 5th and 6th sports, we have, depends on the sport, but Benson comes down and goes to one school and Orwell comes down and goes to one school. So that right, that's the way we did it because nobody really had enough to do it, but when you're all together, you're too much. It's an odd number. So Orwell in the past has come to Castleton for basketball and Benson has gone to Fairhaven. But Orwell decided to do their own this past year and they took it back from us and their parent organization ran it. Yep. So we did not do Orwell 5th, 6th basketball this year.
Okay.
Yep, and we still had too many kids.
Mary, you have something to add?
Julie, I had a question. So Castleton and Fairhaven are the only towns with full-time rec directors.
Correct.
What gym does Fairhaven Recreation call home?
They use the grade school,
Which is owned by whom?
the school,
Okay.
yeah. And they do it on weekends and they do it later in the evening when maybe there's not after school. So we have Boys and Girls Club at most of our schools. And so they do use the gym after school, the Boys and Girls Clubs do. So when they have 5th and 6th basketball, it's like a little game of like who gets to use it when, so it's not every night. And when you move them later because of rec, then Boys and Girls Club uses the gym after school and their rec comes in after that.
Because this high school is looking for more gym time too, right?
The high school, since I was in high school, has been looking for more gym time because the middle school gym is a half gym. It's not a full gym, so it can be used for wrestling, it can be used for cheerleading, which has taken the cafeteria off the sports menu, and now they do it in the half gym of the middle school, but full court basketball has always been at a premium in this area, as long as I can remember.
So Castleton's a little different
Mm-hmm,
because we have here.
correct.
And so it's gonna cost us more as a town because we're flipping this bill by ourselves. So I think we need some help from other towns.
Well, you can charge an out-of-town rate.
Right, but how
For
about-
people to
but how
participate.
can the school district justify letting the town of Fairhaven use that school
Yeah.
belongs as much to me
Yeah.
as it does somebody who lives in Fairhaven?
Yeah.
How can you justify allowing them to do it for no fee when we're having to pay our own fee?
I have no idea if they do no fee. I am not in charge of the building use forms. That would be Chris Cole, and I would be happy to ask him.
I think that would be important.
Yeah.
Am
Yeah,
the
I mean,
only-
I would say
am
that
I
if
the
we were to
only
take,
one that thinks
if we
about
were to
that?
take over 5th and 6th grade basketball, it would have to be done at the elementary school, not here. I mean,
So-
the taxpayers are paying the bill for cleaning, for lights, for heating, for everything here.
I don't know that that would be an issue. I have no idea. If they let Fairhaven use, I'm sure they'd let, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can't see why it would be
Well,
any
no,
different.
I'm
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
trying to ask.
It's a different
because-
size court, right?
Right,
The
that
elementary
is-
school is the smallest size regulation basketball court there
This-
is.
this is the
This
better
is
gym.
bigger. I mean, I don't know if that makes a difference.
Is this one bigger than the other?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, full-size men can play on this.
Yes, correct. Yeah. Yeah. Orwell still plays in their town hall.
I'm disappointed that we don't have more parents that have shown up. We've discussed this for a while.
Well, we deliberately set this out to this agenda so that would have time, so the parents would have time to know if they wanted to participate.
And we
In
did
the
put
discussion.
out,
And we kind of do the bidding of the Castleton taxpayers. And I wish there were a bunch of parents here tonight that said, yeah, we want this to happen, or no, we don't.
right.
So Julie, let me ask you a question. If this board decides that Castleton Rec should not accept these programs, does that have any effect at all on what the school is going to do?
I don't know the answer to that. I haven't built my budget for next year yet. I mean, we don't feel like we do it well. If Fairhaven takes it, then everybody in all the districts would be paying for just Castleton, fifth, sixth, and just Castleton and Benson, fifth, sixth,
How about Hubbardton?
and Hubbardton. Well, I pump them into
But you
Castleton.
can't.
I pump them into Castleton for my, you know what I mean, because it's always been Castleton, Hubbardton.
Right.
Right?
but-
So-
but-
Wasn't it proposed this, for the year that we're currently in, that the school would drop, no, for next year, wasn't it proposed in the most recent budget to drop these?
So,
And it was unpopular with the voters?
no, it was actually not unpopular with the voters. It was actually unpopular with enough board members at a certain meeting that they said, if this was, so this was after it failed. So it was in there, the budget failed. Then when we had our meeting to talk about what we were gonna cut, it came up as a cut. And we did everything in the list except that $32,000.
Was the board-
And that was what we were cutting, was 32,000, because that's how much it would cost to remove it from the actual budget, because Eric went back and itty bitty went through and divided out all the little transportation things, and he hadn't done that before. He just did, what would it cost to not have coaches, games, uniforms, and balls? That was kind of his main thing.
And left out the transportation.
Correct,
Which is the other $25,000.
correct.
I feel like we're in a bad spot here. If we
We
say,
are.
hey, yeah, we'll take this, I think Castleton voters are gonna say, what are you doing to us? Why did you take this away from the school, so now we have to pay more and do more transportation? If the school dropped it, would I be inclined to pick it up?
Absolutely, you better.
Well, putting all my cards face up, yeah, of course, we want the kids to have these activities.
And I think the plan was a slow roll, correct?
Yeah, just a couple sports is what he told me.
Correct. So right now you guys already do softball, baseball.
We already do that.
Yes, correct, Micah?
Just softball.
Yeah.
Just softball. So what did fifth, sixth grade, fifth, sixth baseball do?
That's all Rutland Little League.
Oh, it's Little League, so it's not
Right,
school.
but it's our kids. go to
Right, but it's
Little
not the
League.
school.
It's not a recreation program.
Correct.
Right.
Okay, so Little League picks that up for fifth, sixth right now.
And
Yep.
you're right, that it would be a softball. I think we would take basketball on first, and then we take soccer on the following
Right.
year.
So just those two sports?
Yes,
Okay. Okay.
yep.
At the end of the day, how much is this gonna cost the town?
So it's not gonna cost, initially, just to say we take it, it's not gonna cost you anything. And we would give you the balls, the uniforms, we don't need them, the balls and the uniforms, so you'd have that. And then it would be like, you guys would have to balance out how much it costs with how much you charge. So I don't know how much it would cost you.
What we don't know is the availability of coaches. We know that it's poor. It's
And we know it's
different than,
$1,000 to pay them, unless, if we can't get volunteers.
they're having, I think, Julie, did you tell me you're paying basketball coaches $1,500?
I actually have it here right now.
And in Eric's defense, I think the problem with coaches and finding referees is not a problem that we have just in rec. He has the same problem over there. I think that's saying.
Universal.
Saying that it's just gonna be a rec problem if it's under there, I think is misleading. I think it's universal that everywhere is gonna have issues
Yeah.
with coaches.
Did you
I
factor,
think the ultimate debate that needs to be really looked at is, Are we viewing that this sport, that having your child participate in sport is more of a right that is tax supported, or is it more of a privilege that we're putting more on the user? And I think that's kind of what we need to kind of internally grapple with.
So right now, we have coaches anywhere from the lowest paid is $950, the highest paid is $2,200. And I think that depends on how long they've been coaching with us and at what, yeah, I think it's just how long. And it looks like we had, for basketball, we had Castleton Elementary School with Orwell, and we had Fairhaven with Benson. So you had basically, they had a head coach and assistant coach, 2 different levels of pay, right? Not the same pay. Head coach and assistant coach for each, and we did that for girls and boys. And then soccer, you had same thing, girls and boys, 1,200 being the highest, 950 being the lowest.
Micah, did you factor costs for coaches into your estimate of what we would need to charge each student?
I have not, because we've not previously done that.
And equipment, because it's not just balls, it's bats and.
Well, you are,
It doesn't
no,
last
you aren't
forever.
doing softball. You already do softball and
Oh,
you
we're
don't do
doing
baseball.
Little League, so we're just doing soccer and basketball.
Soccer and basketball. And we would give you soccer balls, basketballs, and uniforms for both teams, because we have
They're gonna
those.
say Slaters on them, right?
You know what? I don't know if they say Cougars and Falcons, it's 5th, 6th. So
Yeah,
I don't know
I'm
the answer
asking,
to what it
I'm
says,
asking.
or if it just, they're red with a number.
And they're gonna
Or
wear
blue
out,
with it
so
now.
we're gonna have to repurchase them in a handful of years.
Oh, yeah,
unless
that's
you're
normal.
planning on
Yeah, you
doing
have
it
to
again.
rotate them.
So here's my thoughts on it. It's probably gonna be unpopular with the parents, but as somebody that doesn't have anybody in the school system anymore, or somebody that doesn't have, older people that don't have people in the school system, we pay enough for kids already, unfortunately. And to add more, even if it's only $10, is too much on the taxpayers, in my opinion. Not everybody has kids, unfortunately, not everybody wants to support their neighbor's kid that wants to play basketball.
Okay, Rob, I agree with you there, but if we make the participants pay.
If it's at zero cost to the town, then that's fine, but I find it hard to believe that it's gonna be at zero cost to the town. It's gonna cost us something. You can figure out whatever you're gonna figure out, but
I gotta
we're
see
gonna
the
miss
numbers
stuff
from
and it's gonna cost the town money. So, if it's guaranteed cost the taxpayers $0, then that's fine, but I think it's gonna be a lot on the parents to pay out of pocket. I mean, I talked to some people that have kids that play AAU, and there's some parents, it kills them to pay for
And
AAU.
that's a choice, right? That's a serious choice that a
You know?
parent makes to pay for AA.
And they struggle to cover that, and now you want them to cover the 5th and 6th grade.
Some
Okay.
some parents
You-
have.
I have trouble with comparing AAU to 5th and 6th grade sports. AAU is an elite,
That's a separate discussion.
money-making, for-profit organization.
Well, I'm just
Let's-
saying to pay in, you know what I mean?
You don't have to do that. You can play plenty of free basketball.
Let's stay on
without
topic
paying
here. That's a
AAU.
separate
Yeah.
discussion,
Yeah.
AAU versus town.
Yeah, very
That's a separate
different.
discussion.
Yeah, but aren't we talking about this, the parents would have to pay $80 or whatever for them to pay town basketball?
Yes.
Okay, so
At
what we,
least.
at least $80, because we haven't calculated in the cost of coaches. So it could be $100, could be $50, we don't know yet.
Calculate in referees?
Yes, that has been calculated in there. But I'm just doing the math of because Eric has told me that we would have access to the elementary school gym for practices. So I imagine 5th and 6th grade would go there. And then if it's all going on the user, I'm thinking that taxpayers, I can't say it's gonna be absolutely zero. I think that's a strong promise. But I think it would be very minimal, because we're not heating, they're not coming to this building, and then most of the supplies are already provided. But, and I think the big thing that we'd ask, I think the uniforms keeps on being brought up, but in my philosophy, I always like to buy the uniforms for the kids, so then we're not having to worry about, oh, we lost that uniform, or that got dirty. We're just giving it to them, it's marketing, the kids can wear it with pride, as opposed to trying to give out these uniforms and collecting them back at the end of the season, which is always a hassle. At least that's my philosophy, others might have a different thought.
So when you start adding in paid coaches, if they're necessary in uniforms, you're probably looking at $125 per user?
I would probably say closer to the 80 range, but I would have to do the exact math on it. And I think we'd have to determine how much we want to pay the coaches. But I think that becomes then a slope of, then are we starting to pay for other programs that were volunteer? Are we starting to pay are we paying them? Like, I know pickleball right now, we have a lot of volunteers, which we were grateful for them to volunteer their time, but now are we gonna start paying them? It just becomes this slope of,
Do you
A
pay
lot of
softball?
pickleball
Do you
players
pay-
are retired and have more time.
that's true.
And for young families that are already, I mean, some are not, but a lot are financially stressed. And to pay for their kids to attend a program and to have to pick them up and bring them home in families where they're already, most of the time, both parents are working and the schedules are already difficult.
Do you pay softball coaches?
We do not.
We do not. So you already have volunteer softball coaches?
Mary, something to add?
Yes, one thing that Eric did bring up is that, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, the VPA sets like how much you have to pay the referees.
Yes, that's true.
And therefore, he felt we could save money by not having to pay, and they would not have to have all the certifications, because that costs a referee quite a bit of money. So we could have some, and I discussed this with Micah, we could have some training for the referees, like at the little kids level, the varsity kids came down and refereed. We could have some training for them so that they do it a little more efficiently. And then that might free up some of the older referees to do the higher level. And they wouldn't have to be paying at the level and paying travel. The referees at the high school get paid to travel. And we may not have to do that. So he thought that that's where there would be savings too.
Well, I guess we have to decide as a board. I think we've spent enough time on this tonight. We have to decide whether we're going to make a decision or not. So let's make that decision first. Are we going to make a decision tonight or not?
I think we have to make a decision. Thanks, Julie.
No, no problem.
I know I'm gonna,
Julie, we do appreciate your commitment to the town and to the school. Don't ever let that
No, I
go
don't.
unnoticed.
Dude, I'm a duck man, right off the back. We're all doing our jobs to the best we can.
I'm gonna be the stick in the spoke here, and I appreciate the work that Eric did, and I appreciate what you're doing, but the school is here telling us they'd like to give it up, and we don't have any parents here saying, we'd like this to happen because our kids aren't getting enough playtime.
And there's none here saying they don't want it to happen either.
Sure.
Thank you, Julie.
Throw something out there, Mark. We'll see if it sticks.
I'm not in favor of it.
Wait for that, but let's make the
Oh.
motion and then get the second, and then we'll have the discussion.
Okay. What's the motion gonna be?
I would make a motion to pick up 5th and 6th grade basketball and then
Okay.
soccer.
I'll second that for discussion.
So to be clear, the motion is to pick up 5th and 6th grade basketball and 5th and 6th grade soccer. That is the motion?
In the soft launch like they had proposed
Over 2 years.
over
And
2 years.
we have a motion and a second. That's the motion, though. I want to be clear.
Correct.
And we have a second for that motion. Any more discussion from the board? I also have Mary Lee's thoughts on this, so I'm going to tell you what her thoughts are after we call the vote.
After you call the vote,
Yeah,
why wouldn't you want to do it before? Is that not appropriate?
well, she's not in favor of picking up these. I'll tell you that much.
Okay, okay,
So if she were here to vote, I'm pretty sure she would vote no.
okay.
Because we had a phone conversation before she went on her trip. She called me like she said she was gonna, and we talked, and those were her thoughts.
Oh, okay, okay.
At this point in time, she's not in favor of it. And primarily for the same reasons that were brought up about the burden on the taxpayers and the burden on the parents that is currently being carried by the school and would not be carried by the school.
Okay, just
If-
well, go ahead, Rob, you go first.
Let's just say that we vote no, yes or no, either way, one way or another, and we get all of a sudden under public or citizens' comments in a meeting 2 weeks from now or a month from now, an overwhelming amount of people that are mad about the decision we made. Can we reverse that decision?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Okay, now I've kind of lost it here, but the school's gonna drop it. They're gonna drop it. I don't want.
We don't know that. The board voted to put it on the ballot for this year, and it passed.
Okay.
We don't know what'll happen next year.
Okay.
Any more discussion, Bob, before I call the question?
I guess not. I don't know why we're calling the question then if the school's gonna.
Like Mark said, they haven't,
I don't wanna put our cards on the table face up so the school can see that. Cause if we vote to take it on, that just gives them the more power, the more will, let's just give it up. Cause Castleton's ready to take it on.
okay, then I'm gonna call the question. All in favor of the motion to take on 5th and 6th grade basketball and soccer, say aye. All opposed, say nay.
Nay at this time.
At this point, the motion is carried as no. All right, we're gonna move on.
Unanimous, right?
It was unanimous. And I think if, based on my conversation with Mary Lee Harris, had she been here, the vote would still be unanimous. Doesn't mean we can't reconsider it, doesn't mean we can't change our mind, a subsequent board a year from now may change their mind. But at this point, that's the stand of this board. Okay, we're gonna move on. Parks and Rec Activity Center. Lease and rent of rooms. Mike, you wanna talk about that?
I do. Thank you. So, this has been kicked around a little bit about leasing of the space in the building. And we have we have two people, one group already leasing and another one that's looking to lease. And then there's discussion should be had, I believe, about the rest of the rooms.
He's just looking for this, Mike.
What is it?
Don't mind me.
Well, no, he was talking, so I didn't want to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
To give you a chance to finish your thought. So the question is to the board, and I did walk around the building with Mr. Combs. We looked at the spaces, Micah was with us, and I still think that there's an opportunity to rent some space in here that's it's just not being utilized, and generate some more revenue for the town, help offset the cost of this building, still support recreation, and I don't see where there's a downside to it. Because possession is 9/10 of the law, so if you give everybody and say, hey, here's all this space, they're gonna fill it up with clutter, which it is now, a lot of it, but it doesn't get utilized. There's 4 rooms that get utilized 6 weeks out of the year by Adventure Camp. They don't need 4, they need 3. I mean, they had no rooms 3 years ago. So it's not like we're pinching them out. There's other room, there's the gym, there's the stage, there's still room in the building. But until it gets rented, it's still available, right? So, but if we market it, and that's the question to the board is, does the board want to pursue marketing some of the space in this building for rent and get somebody in here that, like Vermont Sports Medicine's a very solid business that's been in this community for a long time. They're likely not gonna be a flash in the pan and enter in a rental contract, set up a whatever curio shop and then not make it and have to break a lease. And especially if the town has to do any renovations to the room to, make it rentable, and then they break a lease after 6 months, a year, not whatever. So I think there's a conversation to be had about that, and does the select board have want to have that discussion and market some space? I'm thinking 2 rooms is what I'm thinking.
I absolutely agree with that. I think, the rec department, the rec director, Friends of Rec, everybody's worked really hard to bring as many opportunities as possible to the community. The response has not been as robust as anybody hoped for. I know Micah's worked really hard at a lot of programs. Friends has, the rec department has, everyone's tried hard. And the response has been less than I expected. I really thought by now that this building would be utilized 7 evenings a week. I can't believe we had open gym for a month and had 12 kids. 15? I would have thought it'd been 20 a day, but it wasn't. So we certainly don't want to give up the home ec room, we don't want to give up the gym, obviously the bathrooms, but that leaves 6 classrooms?
Well, right now, the garden club's got one of the rooms tied up. And then beyond that, there's 5 rooms.
So,
One of them's the yoga fitness room, which we've kind of not even, we kept that off the table discussion-wise, because there is some sporadic interest in that, and they did put a lot of work into the room, painting it themselves and, you know, getting it set up. So it could be a room that could be used for all of those things, whether it's, you know, fitness and bar, yoga, whatever, Tai Chi.
so
And
if
it's
we
just,
rent it too, there's still plenty of room.
Yes.
yeah. And then the community living room that they're discussing right now, that could be done in the home ec room. You know, if they want to meet and have coffee, there's a kitchen in there, there's tables, they could play games. That room could be the multi-purpose, and it seems we've rented it to Mary Lee for an activity. So that room is available. If somebody want to do a cooking class, that room's available. So I would take that one off the table as renting it to permanently out to someone. Then you got the garden club that have really kind of taken over that one room. And then beyond that, you got the fitness room, and then going down that hallway, the rest of them,
So if we rented 2, we would be paying for about 70% of the overhead of this building
Yep.
with outside tenants, which would really take the pressure off the amount necessary to charge a rec program.
I think the
Be
rec,
able to cover everything that we're covering right now at even less cost to Castleton taxpayers.
That is correct. I took a good hard look at this the other day when I went through this with Micah and Mike. And I think that Adventure Camp could still function well, and we still have plenty of room for other activities if we rented 1 or 2 rooms. Now, we'd have to actually market that and, you know, get a tenant in here that's long-term. I do agree with Mike that we don't want to rent it out to something that doesn't have a chance of actually getting traction and taking root.
We'd have to be very selective, yeah. You know, it'd have to be like,
So,
you know, a nice bar or
but I
cannabis
think we should
dealer.
at least investigate the feasibility and start trying to do some marketing.
Yeah, there could be some ancillary business, you know, that tied in with Vermont sports medicine.
at one point, you know, the dentist's office was up in the air because they were renting. And so, I mean, a professional office that could come in there would be, parking is always gonna be the issue. And I talked to Dick about it, I'm like, there's some options there as well, but, we're not to that point yet. But with this front of this building being only gonna, when Vermont Sports Medicine, if they come in here, they can't park out front. They have dedicated spaces on the side and their employees around back. And then the fire district have some spaces here because they also rent. So they pay $800 a month. And the proposal that's before you for Vermont Sports Medicine will be $30,000. So we're talking about 39.
Yeah, just south of
Just
40,000 a year.
And then with a couple of those rooms rented, you're up to $50,000+, plus what rec brings in, pickleball brings in, I think like 12 or so a year, maybe, Marion?
We're doing 8 to 1,000 a month,
Yeah.
Micah?
Yeah, so, you know,
And
they're,
that gives us the ability to make some of the repairs that should happen to this building now, and certainly 5 years from now, there's gonna be more of them.
Without crushing the taxpayers.
and I put in that spreadsheet to you that there's money, I think it's $4,700, because the reserve's not funded to be able to, because it was established, but no money put into it. What I presented to you would also put money into that reserve account so that repairs can be made.
So are we agreed that the town manager can pursue marketing 1 or 2 rooms in this building?
Do we need a motion, or
I
can we
would-
just
No,
say
we
go
can
for
just-
it?
I would
Just a-
like to hear from Micah, and Mary's here from the rec department.
Martha Clifford's online.
Martha's on, and Mary's here from Friends of Rec. Is there any reason that you think this is a poor idea?
You go first, Micah. You're the paving.
Oh, I need to go up first on this? I don't know, I'm still very kind of conflicted. I still see there's so much potential in this building, but programs have not taken off the way I would have expected. So I agree, I think some revenue is necessary. I think maybe we start with one room and see how things go from there. And if things are continuing to be slow, we look at the second room, and if things improve, then we still have that other room. That's my initial thought, but I'm very conflicted. Which is it's not easy.
Well, we feel the same way. We had hoped that there'd be rec programs in here all day, every day. Just hasn't worked out.
Mary Drogi?
I don't know that it's fair to say I'm representing the commission, but I am on the commission and I've been heavily involved in this building since day one. So as you made your point, I had a couple thoughts. One is that, as we all know, there's been a lot of turnover in the rec director position, and Micah is still very new. And I think we can't underestimate the setbacks that caused to program development. And I know you've recognized that, but I don't want to forget that either. I think often programs need to be tried multiple times before they catch on in the community. And I agree, it's a disappointment. More people didn't come to open gym, but how many people knew about the open gym? You know, I think we still struggle with communication. We talked about this where, the commission is writing the 1 and 5 year plan, and we talked about new ideas for trying to get more, better communication with the town. It's notoriously difficult to communicate with people these days. Everything's so fractured. So I am ambivalent. On the other hand, I agree. I feel like we need ideally to develop a rec program where not everything has to cover every cent of its cost to run. And I think if we do have enough income that's possible, that's a very good thing. In terms of renting, I'm not sure exactly what room we're talking about, but I know we had a lot of conversations about Vermont Sports Medicine. We expressed concerns about access and where, a business not being able to, tell rec where they can be in the building. And so, there's just concerns that, they're just things that have to be worked out about that, depending on what business it is. So those are just some of my initial thoughts right off the bat, but I guess what I will finish with is saying, and you guys have heard me say this before, but every single time this town has voted on rec, it's been 2-1 in favor, whether it's for the budget, for the position, and I do think this town really wants a vibrant recreation department. And why they aren't coming to programs, I can't exactly offer that answer, but I feel like this town is willing to support rec, and they voted for it with their pocketbook every single time, 2-1. So I don't want to give up. I know you're not saying give up.
And we're
on
not
rec.
giving up,
but you questioned why people aren't coming to programming, and I think it's taking way longer than we all hoped for and thought it would, but I still firmly believe we'll get there.
And I do too, and we're not talking about giving up all the room. We're talking about
understand.
giving up a part of it.
I understand.
So we want to make sure the taxpayers continue to support it.
Yes, I agree.
Instead of saying, holy cow, it's
I
been
agree.
losing $100,000 every year. So I think that we all support authorizing the town manager to,
Can I?
Well, Mary McIntyre.
Oh.
And Martha too, so.
Martha may or may not want to add into. Mary, you go first.
So, I agree with Mary D., that I don't feel we've had a fair shake because we haven't had consistent leadership.
because what?
We haven't had consistent leadership. We've had 3 rec directors in 3 years. And we only agreed to take this building off the market a little over a year ago. A year and 4 months, 5 months, something like that, since it's been off the market, which has made a big difference in how we've moved forward and raised money. And granted, we haven't gotten any grants yet, but it's not for lack of effort. And I think we're still experiencing some growing pains. We're still figuring out how to communicate. Mike, right, wrong, or indifferent, does have to give information to various parts so we can apply for grants. Mike hasn't been given a fair shake this year because you've been shorthanded, right, with your staffing? So he hasn't necessarily had a lot of time to donate, to put towards here. But my concern is, we're talking about growing pickleball, but with Adventure Camp in here, you know, we just talked this summer that, can't, you know, that's limiting. And then now you're talking possibly taking some of their classrooms away and using the gym, and of course that's like, okay, how's that gonna work? And still have outside activities in the gym. And I think if you guys look back, you'll see that last winter, not this past winter, the winter before, when Joanne Austin and I were consistently here on Sundays, and Bob Spalding wondered why Friends got the $350 that we took in, we turned it over to you because it was a valid point. We only did that for 6 or 7 weeks, and we got $350 of donation. Not $10 for out of town, $5. I think that was, I was here a lot of those days. That really was a turnoff to people. I'm paying taxes, yet you're hitting me to bring my 2 kids to play 2 hours of basketball with no instruction, just me, and you're hitting me again. Sometimes I think just asking for a donation. People have been incredibly generous to Friends when we're doing fundraising. I'm hearing it. I'm out there. I'm hearing people saying, but yet we want to come play basketball and you're charging us?
Well, if we can rent some of this space, we can reduce those costs.
But don't forget, people will give money. They gave $350 that winter. How much did you make?
So Mary, what's your opinion? Should we rent a room or not?
Well, Dick, I'm giving you the information I know from being out there. I don't know any better than you guys do.
Okay.
But I think we're gonna have to be very careful in what we choose to put in there, and maybe make it so that it is beneficial to rec. Maybe a coffee shop. Maybe, you know, I don't know what it could be. I'm not renting it, but.
Certainly, we'd be very careful about,
But it's gotta blend in, you know, with our, with a rec center.
Oh, we agree with that.
yeah, we're not gonna,
But
Put an auto
rather than
repair
just
shop
keep
or something in
pricing
there, it's gonna
people
be-
And charging, and I heard you loud and clear on, you know, the pickleball people are retired, but not everybody is. We've got a group of people that comes at night, but they work all day. You know, so they're paying, and they're paying their fees. So it's a community thing, and we've got to let the community know that they have a say. And I think that the taxpayers voted to keep a rec center, not a rec business center. And I think that takes on a whole different viewpoint. That was never on the ballot.
Did the taxpayers vote to hemorrhage large sums of money into this building though? I mean, that's the bigger question here is, we don't have any donations to fix the heating system. We don't have any donations to, you know, cover electrical costs. We don't have any of that stuff, Mary. This building is, I want to keep this building because I don't think we can build, you know, we can't build it. We could never afford to have this building anywhere else in town, but this thing is bleeding us dry. And I don't know what, you know, what else to tell you on that. And we need, you know, we need revenue to come in to help cover that, because I think if we went to the taxpayers and said, hey, you know, this building's costing $140,260 this year alone, I don't know if they would accept that.
And how much did it bring in?
How much did the building bring in this year? I don't know, however much your pickleball bought in, because that's about it. It's about all we have bringing money in, this pickleball.
Fire district is renting.
And then the 800 for the fire district, so.
I'm gonna get input from Martha Clifford, and then we're gonna give the town manager the direction and move on to the next topic. So Martha Clifford, do you have anything to add?
I agree with a lot of what everybody is saying here. But I also feel that there should be a push to get some more revenue so that we aren't taxing the taxpayer on, everything that needs to be done down there. And I believe that there's enough room. We have to be selective, but I think that we should explore getting some more rental in there.
One of the things that, can I bring this up?
Yep, then we're gonna move on.
To be optimistic about, of the future of rec, I'm optimistic about it too. I agree with that. We have to give it some time to mature. Whether Micah's in there or not in there is irrelevant to me. It's more so, is the community in tune with what's going on and the offerings that are being presented. But if you look at those rooms, on any given day, you'd have to say, let's not give up those rooms because we're gonna rent out 5 rooms all at one time. And that's not gonna happen. I don't care, 10 years from now, it might not happen. So everything's about time and space. Not everybody's gonna wanna rent the room at 3 o'clock on Saturday, so there is an opportunity to rotate like a space that rents in Rutland. You go in there and you have to get a time. So having 3 or 4 rooms that have that ability to utilize time and space seems adequate.
I agree.
Agreed.
So what's the pleasure of this board? Are we going to ask the town manager to explore marketing 1 or 2 rooms?
I would like to authorize the town manager to see if he can market some of the space here.
Is that a motion?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're gonna move on. What's there to talk about with the Vermont Sports Medicine Center at this point? Are we ready to proceed with that, or is
Yeah,
that?
unless there's questions, Mr. Chairman, on what I presented to you, but it's public. They were here, it's $2,500 what they're asking to pay for that space. Triple net. I presented to you what the costs are for the building, versus what they're gonna pay, and it's,
So where are we at with that as far as, is that still with our attorney, or is that ready to move forward?
no, she's already given her input. That's what I put in front of you. There's some word missing in the top part that I need to get clarified, on the header part of the contract itself. But what we've agreed to is that they will get parking spaces out here. They can put a sign up out front, and they can put a sign up out back showing where their entrance is. They get use of the common area, which is the bathrooms. They can use the home ec room as a break room when it's not being utilized as something else. They can use the hallways for patients for walking them up and down. The stairways, if they want to work on the stairways, as long as it's not interfering with an activity that's going on in here. So that's the coordination, and the communication part would come in with Micah, with them, so they would know if something's going on.
Ladies, if you want to have a separate conversation, can you please leave the room? Thank you.
The select board's already authorized the ADA compliant bathroom refurbish, which they started again today. Were they here today?
They were.
Yeah. I talked to Paul, but I didn't ask him where
Saw the
it's at.
new units in.
So they start their HVAC and the bathrooms are the 2 major projects. Then outside of their entrance door would be this west side door. To build a little covering over it with their ramp, so that snow is not on the
Are we
ramp.
building that, or are they?
They are. Yep.
And they're taking care of their own janitor service.
They would take care of all the rooms they rent, the maintenance of it, and
Yeah.
the common area is still
On
on us.
us, yeah.
Well, they agree to if there are people go in there and make a mess, they clean it up.
Yeah, well, we talked about this. Said, if you go into the break room and you make a mess, you got to clean it up. Or can't say wait till Colette comes in next Friday.
And they're agreeable to that,
Yeah.
so I thought, yeah, that's common sense.
They seem like pretty reasonable people.
And their main entrance will be coming through that door, so tracking in stuff from the road will be into their space, not through our space.
And I think it's important not to lose that business in the town of Castleton. If they decide to move on from where they're at somewhere else, I don't think we want to lose that
Well,
here.
they're outgrowing where they are.
Yeah.
So
So,
that's a big plus to keep
They're in
them
their
here.
third space since they've been in town.
I know.
This will be their fourth space.
I know it was very promising with them there. They were like jumping out of their seats, excited about coming in here, and that did it for me right
Yeah,
there.
if you look at the space they have now in this space and the cramped quarters they have, this allows them to expand in the future if they want to bring on more clinicians. But having a private treatment area where the nurse's office was and that little room off that was things that they're like, you know, this would be so nice.
Yeah, good for our community.
Mary?
And they've already embraced Friends of Rec, I can tell you.
Mary Drogi?
So I'm sorry, I didn't hear it because there was a lot of conversations going on. What is the lease per month?
2,500
But you had said, someone had said 30 just in the other conversation, no?
For the year.
for the year.
30 for the year, okay. I think a while ago, I'm sure it's been a technical negotiation, but I think originally we were hoping for more than that, weren't we? Like 40?
Yeah. But-
We were, but sometimes reality comes into play. So what's the board's pleasure? Do we authorize the town manager to proceed?
I would make a motion, we authorize the town manager to proceed and sign a contract with Vermont Sports Medicine.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So Dewey Field. You're still,
Yeah.
carrying that burden,
That's
right?
that ice cream cone I keep licking that doesn't go away. So, after I went down to the Dewey Field, I measured out the space, I looked at the equipment, what space it requires to put in there. Oh, and by the way, I put grade stakes down there and someone stole the grade stakes. I even painted them orange, maybe they like the orange top on them, I don't know. So, based on that space and what money we have, the town can pay for the equipment to go into that space, no extra money required. I know that there was some discussion about the Lions Club and the American Legion, because they're coming up on some last of their meetings. I think if they wanted to add to the recreation ambiance there, is maybe they could donate some benches, because that was something that was on my list originally, was to have benches, so when parents are there with their kids and they're playing on their stuff, we'd have some nice benches, not get wood splinters in your rump. And we have lighting now down there. If you drive by there on your way home, look down there. Green Mountain Power moved the pole. The stuff is lit now. It's not a dark area, so that we can keep an eye on. The police can, once we get the cameras installed, they'll be able to see that stuff from their phone and from the police department as well. To landscape it and help put the stuff together, I would ask that would be a great community effort. Once we get all the stuff and have a couple work days, once we get the ground prepped and we look at what Casellas might want to do, but have a community event down there to help put it together and lay it out and feel like they're part of it. Paul McClure, now that the power's in, he's gonna run the power from the pole to the building. Our sewer plant's gonna get the septic stuff up and running, because they found I don't think I told you, they found the curb stop for the water. So Paul's gonna get everything up to code. Lee Jamison, I still haven't got a commitment from him on a date. He's gonna replace the roof and the fascia board, and we already had the money for the materials. So he was gonna donate his time. Paul was gonna donate his time and the fixtures. He got a donation to replace whatever needs to be replaced in the bathrooms. So, that's kind of the big picture right now. But we have the money to buy the stuff that goes into that space, and adequate, that would cover little kids from 2 years old up to 12-year-olds.
Excellent.
And ADA, some ADA compliant stuff that, it's not the $30,000+ ADA stuff that they show on there, but we don't have room for that anyway.
Right.
So, that's kind of where we're at right now. So I will bring back, once I flush this thing out with it, one of the companies, it was gonna cost $4,800 to ship the stuff here. And I was like, no. But there's limited companies. One of them, Mary, the one that, just so you're aware, that Playground, or
Playground Boss.
something Boss, yeah, Playground Boss, they're the ones that were $4,800 for shipping. So I'm trying to find the items at all these companies, but what I found out by talking to them is they buy from wholesalers, and you can't buy from the wholesaler. So this company might carry a pony spring thing, and this one will carry a fire truck, you know. So it's, they all get their slice of the pie, but they don't sell the same thing. But they're all about the same price.
There was a text box up there where somebody had I don't know if it's still part.
Martha Molnar has her hand raised.
Okay, Martha, do you have a question or a comment?
She wanted the pony.
Well,
She's muted.
Yeah,
can she hear us? Martha
Yeah, she
Molnar,
heard
you had a question? Oh, she's muted.
you're
so-
muted, Martha, that's all. Maybe I can unmute you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So, the bridge initiative in its heyday put 2 benches by the Castleton River at the edge of Dewey Field, because we felt that we have a river and we have very little access to it. So the benches are on the shoreline of the river, and they're about maybe 20, 30 feet away from where the grass is being cut regularly. We have asked that the path to the benches also be mowed, but they're not being mowed. People have to wade through tall grass, which is not particularly safe, given what we have out there with insects. And I would like to ask that path please be mowed. I will let people know, I will publicize the benches, I'll put it on Front Porch Forum and so on, because it's a wonderful spot for people to go to, see the river, have a picnic. It's quiet and it's beautiful. And since the benches are already there, it shouldn't be a big deal to mow a narrow walking path to them.
So I can respond to that, because I know they're passionate about that. So I brought Jeff and Evan down there the day we walked the whole property, and looked at what we need to clean up and stuff. And Jeff, when I brought that to Jeff's attention, that it needed to be mowed and cleaned up around there, he was like super excited, like a kid. He's like, I love these public improvement projects, and he is personally gonna be down there working that one to clean up, not just a mow path, but all the overgrowth that's kind of taken over there, and clean that stuff back. So he's personally gonna do that, because he's gonna mow along the railroad track. He's learning he's going to a class on the mower and stuff, so he wants to do it, the mowing part, and then he'll trim all that out of there. So great. We addressed it, Martha.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great
You're welcome.
news.
Yeah, it's a nice little path down there.
Yeah. And because we looked also to the board where the old tennis courts were, and there was that talk about a pump track going in there. So we just looked at what the current condition of it is, and it's still, after all these years, that besides a few pine trees that are growing up through there, which some of them we're gonna take and replant, because they're like Scotch pine, but it's still amazingly in good shape.
Yeah, that was all clean gravel.
So they're gonna clear that area and get that back to no overgrowth, undergrowth stuff in there. Yeah.
So let's move on to Crystal Beach. You need an authorization from us to get the weed pulling done, or is that
There's,
within your purview?
in your packet under rec, there was a bid and an email from Beck Sinclair. So the top was an email, and behind it's an actual invoice or estimate.
2,400.
We have the money for that in that fund still.
We do, I think we're down, we still have like $13,000 in there.
Make a motion to approve the sum of $2,400 to Sinclair Commercial Diving for hand pulling services at Crystal Beach.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
Start date is, it's on the sheet I gave you. He just moved it. I talked to Martha about it to make sure it wouldn't interfere, and Micah, with the swim program, but it's the 15th and 16th of June is when they'll do the work.
Okay.
There's also a mention in there about backhand helping with the swim platform.
Correct. And Martha, is she's still on? I think they were looking for maybe another swim float. I don't know, one that's in better shape, maybe. I don't know. Martha, I'm not sure if you can weigh in on that. But
Mike, will you repeat that?
Swim
I didn't
float?
quite get it.
No.
we were talking about the swim float. Were you still looking for like another swim float?
Well, basically, we were looking to get the ladder repaired. And Evan said he was gonna go down and take it off and send it somewhere, because he can't do it in-house. I don't think he's done that yet, though.
But the swim float itself is in good shape, it just needs to fix the ladder?
Right, yes.
All right. So we'll get that done as well. But because Beck can help put it in place.
You got it?
No charge for that.
May have a ladder.
No, it's part of that,
Okay.
2,400.
I don't have any more
I've come across
comments. then.
numerous of those.
All right, I'm gonna call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
So we're gonna move on to manager's report. Micah,
I had one other quick update on the beach real quickly. Martha and I have been working really hard on trying to find a swim instructor. We're getting a lot of emails, but we're really just at the liberty of trying to find somebody who wants to teach swim lessons. So if anybody knows anybody, please let us know. We're trying to meet with some people from the Red Cross that might be able to refer some people over to us, but if you hear anything in the community about people looking for swim lessons, it is still a work in progress.
What age group is that, Micah?
Martha, do you know, what do you usually?
It goes from, like non-swimmers, which are, they could be as young as, preschoolers, all the way up to probably 10, 11, 12-ish, around there for the deep water swims.
And are there credentials required for that person?
I think it depends on, who you want to ask. We have had in the past a certified Red Cross water safety instructor. The person we had for the last 2 years was just a lifeguard with water, with instruction experience.
Okay, thank you.
you're up, Mike.
Okay. One of the things I put in your packet that didn't make it on the things I'll cover under manager report was the summer diesel fuel bids. You know that we historically send this out, and there's the big three, I call them, that up is Champlain Valley, Local Fuels, and Sam's U-Save are the ones that typically give us back these bids. And in this case, only one came back. I called Sam's U-Save, and Al said he didn't want to participate in it this year. So the only bid we got back was from Champlain Valley Fuels for the Montreal rack price plus 25 cents. And I gave you what that price is. And we don't have any other bids. I don't know if there's, I kind of asked Mr. Chairman that maybe there's somebody on the board that might know other companies that would be willing to bid on this. I know we're gonna need fuel for the summer, so it's not like we can kick it down the road for very long, but I can spend up to $2,500, enough to get them fuel, you know, until we can get this resolved, but it only gives us one bid. And they're charging price over rack, so whoever comes back to us and says, we'll charge you price over rack, it's the price over rack that would be the factor, because they're all gonna get the same rack price.
Can we put it off till the next meeting?
I don't see why not. I can get Jeff enough fuel for right now, but if the board wants to see if we can solicit some more bids, somebody would have to say, I'll go less than 25 cents over the rack price, because everybody's gonna get the same rack price.
Is that ethical to do after we've already opened a bid?
Technically, I would say at this point, everyone now knows that Local or Champlain Valley Fuels is 25 cents over.
Right.
And we did our due diligence.
I mean, that's public record. If somebody comes in and says, I'll do a penny cheaper than that.
Yeah.
It's not really ethical to take that.
I agree with you.
Well, we can accept the bid or we can deny the bid and put it out to bid again. That's ethical, isn't it?
I don't,
If it's not, then,
I don't know, I think that would be maybe iffy. Is where I think we're skirting on the line of that ethical, non-ethical.
Particularly if you called somebody and they actually declined to bid.
Yeah, I called Al, and he said no, and Jeff didn't get anything back from local or Champlain or Sam's. I got the one from from Champlain Valley, and they were pinging me saying, hey, just want to confirm you got it. So I think that unless there's a different rack price, I thought there was one for the Port of Albany. But I don't know.
I'm sure not everybody pays the same, but I'm sure the big guys get some kickback or something. But in any case, I think we put it out to bid. We had one legitimate bid, and I think it would behoove us to accept that bid.
It's not really fair to that guy.
Yeah.
It's not. What happened, if he finds out we sold him out for a penny, he's not bidding on our stuff ever again. We lose that. This was a fair, honest, competitive, open bid.
We have a good relationship with this company. I see no reason to damage that.
And the other company that typically we buy fuel from is Sam's, and he said, I'm not gonna do it, so it's not like there wasn't a chance.
how many gallons are we purchasing, Mike?
8,000, I believe is what it,
I just don't see it.
it was in the bid thing, it was, 8,000 with an additional, option to buy more, and I don't remember what that more number was.
What was this handwritten stuff here though, where it's $4.39 a gallon if you buy it today?
That was me when I called, Sam's, and I asked how much it would cost to get 500 gallons of fuel delivered to the highway department right today or tomorrow, and that's what the price was. So that price is lower than what Montreal price is,
No, it isn't.
it's $4.39 and $5.10.
$5.10 to get
$5.10
it
would be
from-
Montreal in US dollars. Plus any rack price, over rack, you had 25 cents for over rack and it's $5.35.
That's because of the fluctuation, you're
He might
asking.
have bought it at this rate, that's why he's selling it at this rate.
Yeah.
How many gallons can we hold?
I don't know what's in it right now. I know we're looking at buy 8,000 gallons for the summer.
What is your time frame, Mike? When can you start buying it and when do you have to buy it all? Is there a time frame? Is there a period? Is that-
Through 1 November.
So,
It's our summer fuel, so
Okay.
in November, we start looking at getting the winter fuel mix.
okay, so you gotta buy the 8,000 gallons by November 1st,
Up to that.
up to that.
But the bid packet, and I don't have my computer with me, it was 8,000 and additional, like 500 at the same price or something like that, or something, I don't know, but let's say 8,000.
Should we even do this now, or should we just buy a 500 gallons at a time? I mean, is the price gonna go down?
Well, I think that by speculation of oil prices, that by the fall, it's gonna go down, but it's not gonna go down this summer, I don't think. But right now, if we were to buy 8,000 gallons and put in that tank, we're gonna buy it at $4.39.
39
But if we wait and take the bid and buy it, we're gonna pay $5.35 at current price.
I
Correct.
thought it says here that today's rack is $3.83.
No, did I write that?
It's
Somebody hand wrote it.
It's under here, yeah.
Today's rack is 3.833 plus 25 cents.
Yeah, that's from Champlain Valley.
Yes.
So whatever we buy it from, whether it's Champlain Valley or Sam's or whatever, it's still gonna be less than,
So that'd be like 4.10
yeah. And that's at today's price.
today. Even if the war ends tonight, which it doesn't look like that's gonna happen, the fuel prices aren't going down the next day. The strategic supplies have all been nearly depleted. It's gonna take maybe a year to get back to where we were.
But
In my opinion, I would take this bid and buy it right now.
well, one of the things I'd like to do, because even if you authorize it, we're not gonna buy fuel, we don't have to buy fuel right now. But if we had some money left over coming into June in the highway department, which I seriously doubt, but let's just say we did. We could buy it, you know, maybe at 410 or close to 410 versus 535. I think it's a game that we play, but I think at some point we need to just make a commitment.
It's to your advantage for us to put this tool in your box, isn't it?
Yes.
Then let's do that.
But we don't have to buy it right now.
I know that.
But it's a risk if we don't.
Okay, you just,
Know what I'm
I
saying?
agree with everything everybody said. But you need fuel right now.
Yes.
You do need fuel right now.
I don't need 8,000 gallons right now, but that's why I said I can put, if I buy it right now from local fuels, you're gonna pay $4.10 for it. If you authorize that, and I said, okay, I'm gonna buy that from Champlain Valley Fuels, they just said $4.10, but Montreal price over rack today was whatever. If you look at the conversion rate and go, what's in that sheet and convert Canadian to dollars, my math comes out to be 535. If I'm wrong, fine, we can correct it, but that was what my math come out to be.
How big is your tank up there, Mike?
8,000.
And if you buy 8,000 gallons today, would that get you through the summer? It would get you through the summer?
This bid sheet says Montreal rack plus 25. Today's rack is 3.83, which would be $4.08 a gallon today.
Yeah, and when you look at, when I looked up the price of rack on the website, and that what I gave you on that sheet, on the,
I won't give it that sheet.
where's that sheet? Right here, this one. So on the back side of that sheet, I highlighted it, Montreal, Quebec, at today was 184 Canadian cents for US diesel number one. So if you want to convert 184.0 Canadian cents to dollars, it's 3.79 liters per gallon, because they sell, this is in liters.
And so what's the rack price per gallon today? It's not 383?
Not by my math.
Okay.
But if this is what the guy gave us, then that's what the guy gave us.
Yeah.
Well, he
And
said
that's
rack.
what we're paying.
No, you're gonna pay whatever rack is plus a quarter. It may or may not be 383.
That's what it is today. I'd buy the 8,000 gallons and be done with it.
Well, I can buy as much as I can under this price that they gave us, but if that price continues to go up, at some point,
And we-
if somebody wants to do that math to make sure my math was correct,
I don't know how to do the math.
I just use it.
I don't follow the lead, well, I do follow the leaders. I know what you gotta do there. But this is what you can buy it right from today, $4.08. That's what you can buy it today.
according to,
According to Champlain Valley,
yeah.
I don't see why you
No.
don't just fill the tank.
That's what I would say too.
Is this document today?
Yeah, it was, whatever, I got it like Friday.
This was signed May 7th, so a few days ago.
Yeah.
So, could we make a motion to approve the town manager to purchase 8,000 gallons of fuel from Champlain Valley Fuels at the 383 plus the 25 cents? That was quoted on this slip here.
That's
what I'd
like to do.
I'd make that motion.
If I gotta look at the money, because
You might not have the money.
I may
to
not
buy-
have money to buy 8,000 gallons right now.
Well, buy what
I
you
will
can buy.
rescind my motion to make, and I will make a motion for the town manager to purchase as much diesel fuel as he can afford at the rack price that we were given by Champlain Valley Fuels on 5/7/26 of 383, rack price plus the 25 cents.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh my
If you gotta shop
God.
around more, let us know, Mike. If we have to do a special meeting or something, we will.
So we still did the the only bidder,
Yes.
so we didn't screw him over, and
And it's good for, it's, the contract price they're saying is, the
That's a really
on-road
good
diesel
price if you
contract
can
price
do
is
it.
good through 1 November, but it's whatever the rack price is.
So what else? do we
correct,
have
that's
to
why
do?
we purchase as much as we can at this price as we can afford.
I don't think it's changed in the last 3 days, so
What else could we have to do under manager's report? Mike?
Oh, I got these. There's in your packet, there's some stuff.
Cheapest I can find, that's on road.
We're gonna move on, guys.
The cheapest I could find.
I provided the board with a letter and a copy of the highway department budget. And I hope you looked at it because it's not such great news. So not that I want it to be bad news, but I think you need to be aware of it.
That's the one with all the writing on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know what they did with it, but
That's back here a few minutes ago.
my paperwork I got here.
The first part under the admin, for personnel, services, I'm not really concerned about that one so much as I'm concerned about
I seen it.
winter maintenance. It's $75,826 over our budget, their budget for winter maintenance. There's some stuff in there, that I need to verify. I was working on that today, like winter salt. We spent $114,000 and we only had 90, I can't see that, 88 maybe, whatever those numbers are, 88,000. And so I gotta go back and look at the minutes. Did the board authorize the money, the additional money to come out of the highway carryover? Because if that's the case, then the number, instead of being 114, would be 88. And the rest of it would come out of the highway carryover. But they still would max their budget out as of right now. And that was for winter maintenance. And that's why Jeff said the salt, when he talked today, wouldn't come out until 1 July. Then the other one, under mechanic, the last page, under the town mechanic, we're overspent $84,662 on his budget, which is primarily contracted out stuff.
Repairs.
But there's one in there under machine and equipment for 79. I gave this to Joe, and I haven't, today, we were working on the village school, so I didn't get back to this one. But that, I wanna know what that is. I don't recall what that $78,000 is for. Because remember, we bought the skid steer, right? I'm like, did they put that against this rather than the reserve? Or what? So I gotta look at the minutes, see what the board authorized, where the money to come from. And if that's the case, it will wipe out that.
Yeah, that seems like a lot for one purchase.
Yeah, one purchase. Well, it says machinery and equipment, and until I look it up, I don't know what all that is. It could be multiple things, it could be one thing,
Yeah.
so I have to look it up. But it's usually when machinery and equipment is we bought a piece of equipment or a vehicle or something like that, but vehicles usually come out of the reserve account. So, not to belabor this, but I need to get that straightened out, but even if it's zeroes it out, we're still like, no money left. I mean, you take that, he uses all of his money that he has in that account, and we still have the rest of May and June to go. So I am concerned about, getting this stuff, flushed out, so I know, was it highway carryover, was it an ARPA resolution, was it, getting that stuff flushed out, and Joe did a good job today with me, working on the resolutions with him and Penny, and then also with that village school stuff. So I still need to revisit this one, but I'm just hesitant to say, let's spend all this money, and then say, oh shit, we don't have any money.
I would say don't spend anything.
Yeah, well, I told him, I said, it might be a spending freeze that goes
Yeah,
on.
I would
We just
start,
told him to spend money on the fuel.
if he has it.
Yeah.
We just told him to spend as much money as he had on the fuel. If he doesn't have anything, then I guess.
He's not doing it, is he?
Zero's cheap.
Fortunately, that's
Our
a different
trucks are
line in
gonna
the
stay
budget.
parked, right?
Just put that on your personal credit card. We'll hit you after Jim.
Just think of all the freaking flyover aisles you can get.
You always have a positive spin on
Yeah.
things. So anyway, that's where I'm at, and I'll get this thing flushed out. But I know it's always looks doom and gloom towards the end of the year, because when they make these posts, and then we have to go back and make adjustments and do journal entries, it just happens. And the PD always looks overspent. But all that stuff for the governor's highway safety, all those grants, they lag like 2 months of getting the stuff back. So it always looks bad, but it's not as bad as in the end. But, okay. The sidewalk project for the village, they You saw that they approved the extension of the project limits.
Yes.
And those emails I sent out, showed you today that Stephanie Burke is reaching out to Brian. They redid the scope of work, and that's being sent back to Fuss and O'Neill, so that they can rebid their stuff. And I talked to Brian today, and Brian Birch from Fuss and O'Neill, and he just threw in that, he said, well, with the lighting increases, but we went down, he said, overall, the price went down, even by adding in the additional stuff. I don't know what the number is, 'cause I haven't seen it yet, but, because he's not gonna send that to me, he's gonna send it to Stephanie. And then the steering committee will see it, and we'll be able to, digest what they're throwing out there, but at least they got accepted, because originally, Stephanie really was pushing back that she didn't wanna do that, and we won.
Mike was right.
So just
Yeah.
to make sure you're clear on what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
What we added and what we subtracted.
so I'll be able to follow up with everybody, or at least with the steering committee first, once we get the contract stuff back. Just for your own knowledge, the Wilford Pike, there's a copy in here from VTRANS, so they're gonna listen to his plea about the power utility pole and the guy line on his property. And then there's another complainant, which was Eric and Martha Nelson. They're listening to theirs as well. That was all part of that Route 4A.
The ones across the road, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Well, I don't know if they're exactly across the road, but whatever. Their addresses are pretty close.
They're the other end of the culvert.
Okay. So they're both gonna get heard from the state of Vermont. I also put in your packet a copy of the statutes. That's a supporting document for the plea from Wilford Pike and stuff. So Micah has been in conversation, as have I, with Efficiency Vermont. There's a piece of paper and packet in here about the lighting and trying to get money through Efficiency Vermont to upgrade the lighting in the gym and the hallways. Typically, that comes with very low cost to the town, our share of it. But it would put in energy efficient lighting in the gym and in the hallways with those motion sensors, so that as you walk down the hallway, they will come on, but they're not gonna stay on, and somebody's not gonna leave them on, especially the gym lights. Our biggest cost out of here, just about, besides fuel, is lighting. It's about $1,500 a month for lighting here. Just short of that. I received a message, I think I shared it with you guys by text maybe. They tested the tiles and the adhesive, the mastic in the gym floor for asbestos, and they're both negative, so that clears us to, so that they can continue moving forward with that project.
Good news.
And barring your questions, that would be it.
Are we prepared to award that bid tonight?
The gym floor?
I thought that you guys were kind of handling that with, you met with Andy and Mary, right? I'm not sure if you guys are prepared to make that.
I guess I assumed that was gonna be on the agenda, and then I didn't.
Well, I left
see
it
it
off
on
because
there.
I hadn't heard any back whether they were done.
That's our fault. We should have brought that back to you, but we did come to an agreement. Dick and I, Friends of Rec, with consultation from
Rick Waring.
Rick Waring, and we're prepared to accept that bid.
So, I didn't have the contract in front of me, so if you're gonna try to do it tonight, somebody, if they have that information, might be in that packet right there too. Not sure.
I wasn't here last week, but this was in my box. That was the bid from Danaher.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were the only qualified bid. Once again, I think that
There was two. There was Danaher, and then there was another
it
one.
was late.
They were 2 days late with their bid.
And, okay, and they didn't appear to be the same.
They didn't have
thing Anyway, they
Moisture
were,
barrier.
yeah, they were missing a bunch of stuff. It
They
looked
were,
like.
yeah. And again, I think we have to be really careful about setting bid times.
Yeah,
And then you take a
keeping
late
buying.
there's the possibility that there was some funny
Here, Mike, is
business.
this what you're looking for?
The contract from Danaher?
Yeah.
I mean, if your board wants to make a motion on that tonight but it didn't get added to the agenda, so I'm not sure what your pleasure is on it.
I don't think we'll get a lot of public dismay if we do that tonight.
Well, especially considering
It's
that,
the only one.
well, it's the only qualified bid. It is a company that Friends had preferred to work with. It was a company that Rick Waring has had extensive dealings with.
Positive dealings,
Pardon me?
positive dealings.
Positive. You know, he's worked with them at the university and had, you know, the highest praise for them as a company. And it's not taxpayer money that we're spending. We're just helping Friends through the bid process.
Yeah, Matt does a good job. Danaher.
Do you know him?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, Rick Waring thought he was just the greatest.
he's done a lot of work. They're very busy.
So, if you have to read from a contract, Rob's got a copy of it there, so.
Did you make the motion?
Can if you want. Do we need to just make it to award them the bid and then Friends of Rec handles it all? Is that how that's
Pretty much
going on?
that's-
What else do I need to put in there? Just so we award the bid to Danaher?
Yeah,
That we would award the bid to Danaher.
Here, why don't you do it then? Okay. You gotta do it. There's no sense of me being a middleman here.
You gotta have the dollar amount, right?
Yes, so all the town's authorizing is the bid, because all the money is all.
right. We're not spending taxpayer money.
Okay, I would make a motion that we award the bid for the replacement of the rec center floor to Danaher Floor Restoration Incorporated for the amount of, make sure I have that correct, because there were some add-ons. $102,580 on the condition that our attorney approves the terms of the contract and payment. That's what we all agreed on, right?
That you guys aren't liable for any of the payment.
Correct.
The town isn't. Friend of Rec will cover.
And then we need to make, because there's some arrangements between Friends with a down payment, and they may or may not have enough money to pay in full at the completion date.
Yeah,
And
but
Dan-
we're not there at this point because we lost that window. Now we're just waiting. But we're in agreement that we're taking this whole burden on.
And we want to make sure that before this work starts, that the contract that Friends signs with Danaher excludes any liability on the part of the town. That they understand that there's no, if Friends disbands and doesn't pay them, there's no ability to put a lien on this property. That's why I put that contingency in there.
I'll second that.
Read back the motion.
Would you like me to state it over?
I can say it again if you want. Mark made a motion to award the bid for replacement of the rec center floor to Danaher Floor Restoration Incorporated for the amount of $102,580 on the condition that the attorney approves the conditions and terms of the contract and payment.
And your second seconds that?
That's it.
Yep.
Perfect.
Nice work.
All in favor? Aye.
Who seconded?
Thank you, Brianna.
I did.
Rob, thank you.
I just wanted to make sure everyone was clear on what they were voting on.
Got it back.
I was-
All right.
I was on bated breath hoping.
Does that
I didn't
conclude your
say it.
manager's report, Mike?
Yes.
On to purchase orders.
All right.
Do you have purchase orders?
I do.
I have, oh, maybe they are, yes, they are.
You're in there.
5 minutes early.
I would make a motion to approve purchase order number 055338 to Innovative Surface Solutions for the May chloride of 5,062 gallons for the sum of $6,276.88.
Second.
Would make a motion to approve.
Wait a minute, all in favor?
Oh, sorry.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Stay the 11th.
Yes. Would make a motion to approve purchase order number 055345 to Brown's Quarried Stone for the sum of $2,597 for the T-ball park.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Could I, for discussion, we looked at that today. That comes out of a resolution. So could that include that? So that the accountant office sees that it's coming from resolution 2501.
To come from resolution 2501.
All in favor?
Aye. That project looks beautiful.
It would make a motion to approve purchase order number 055569 to Salem Farm Supply for tires and rims for the sum of $2,800.
I'll second that.
And that would come from the sewer budget, because that's their vehicle.
To come from the sewer budget.
All in favor?
Aye.
Would make a motion to approve purchase order number 055674 to Rutland Region Planning Commission for the sum of $2,942.88, and that's for the Village Pedestrian Improvement Project.
Do I have a
I'll
second?
second it, I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Charlie Brown tomorrow morning, I'm sure.
I know.
Ready for warrants?
Warrants.
Make a motion to approve warrant number 0508 for the sum of $79,806.90. Warrant number 0511 for the sum of $570,516.94. Warrant number 0430P for the sum of $20,014.77. And warrant number 0507P for the sum of $22,187.94.
I'll second all of them.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
On that contract for Danaher, is there a place that a signature is required? Out of the town signature?
No. There's a place for Mary McIntyre to sign, and,
I don't have anything on this
Lien on her
particular
house.
one.
Mr. Chairman, can I address the board on the new hires
Yes.
while they're signing? So, public knowledge, there's been two hires. One to fill the office manager, operations assistant, Jenny Quisnell. And if I said that wrong, I apologize, because I didn't ask her how to pronounce it, but it's Quesnel. She starts Monday. She's from the Orwell Shoreham area. It's about 25 minutes away. And also, we offered, I haven't got it back yet. She agreed, but I haven't got the written stuff back. Brittany Reed into the highway department as a highway equipment operator driver, and she also starts Monday.
nice.
So that's been, those two critical positions are filled, as long as they all show up on Monday.
Two less monkeys on your back, we hope.
Yeah.
Select board comments. Mark?
Is it appropriate during the select board meeting to discuss the, issue with the engineer on the sewer line, since we didn't have a sewer meeting this week?
I suppose it is, since we don't have a better forum to discuss it.
What was the engineer's name that was here?
Jason Booth,
He was from,
Alderson Elliott.
he did not provide me with any of the emails that we had discussed. I think that at this point, we should, everyone was here at that meeting, right?
I was not.
Okay, so,
When you met, that was last meeting, I believe, when you met.
Yes.
Yeah, I was not here.
yep, so the engineer freely admitted that they had made an error in speccing out that scope of work. He said that the error was only partially his fault because there was a series of emails that went back and forth and there were some cost-saving measures discussed. And I asked him to send those emails to me because I hadn't seen any of them. And someone here had rightfully predicted that they would not be forthcoming. But it's been 2 weeks and they haven't come. I think that overage cost the town, that mistake cost the town about 15,000.
Thought it was more than that.
25, I thought.
But there was, I think it was 25 for the new tank and pump, and we got 8 back on the old.
8,700 back or something like that, yeah.
I think that we need to make them an offer and say, hey, we expect you to pay us $5,000.
Why don't you send me his email address and I'll request those emails and copy the rest of the board.
It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, I'll give him one last
Almost
chance.
that night it would be there. I would just like to get this resolved, you know, this stuff hangs out there and hangs out there, and I feel like in many different situations, the taxpayers take it.
So I'll give him a request to send those emails to me no later than Wednesday afternoon, close of business, and if I don't see anything, then we'll get a proposal together and tell him what we think.
Okay,
But we'll give
maybe
him,
we should,
we'll give
at our
him,
next meeting, have a sewer meeting 15 minutes before the board meeting?
yep, and we'll give him 2 business days to provide that information, and if he can't do so, then he's not going to. But sometimes when if you don't put a deadline on something, so we'll just give him a deadline.
Okay.
You have 2 business days to get this done. If you can't do it, well, it's unfortunate. We'll move on. And then we can't be accused of not being reasonable. Anything else, Mark?
That's all I have.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Is the project, did they started work again or no?
No, no, still waiting on that concrete box and pump. All the lines are in.
Bob, you have anything?
I don't believe so. No.
Okay. Rob?
I don't have anything that I don't think we covered tonight, so.
I'm good too, so let's move on. Did we have any action items besides now I'm going to email that engineer requesting emails? Anything else? I mean, you always have your list of things to do.
Follow-up stuff I do.
I'm gonna look and see if I got a ladder for a swim platform at Crystal Beach, cause I almost think I have one.
Nice. Be nice to have, I'd have Evan grading the roads and
So do we need an executive session for?
No, it's
which
not
one do you wanna
yours.
start
I
with,
think I
Mike?
have one that Dad got from the dump.
litigation.
Probably one that I threw away at the dump.
Probably.
We're gonna start with litigation, which is contracts. Or that would be probably contracts. Go with contracts.
Contracts. I move to find that premature general public knowledge regarding the contract matter at hand would put the board at a substantial disadvantage because of the contract negotiations. I move that we enter into executive session to discuss the contract matter under the title of Provisions 1 VSA 313A1.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are in executive session with the board and the town manager.